Good morning, everybody, guys and gals. I'm pumped about today. Let me grab my water real quick. Where are we at? Where are we at? There we go. Guys, this is the one call a year that I'm probably the most pumped about when I get a chance to do this. It's something we call the Epic end of the year annual planning call. And guys, if you've never been on one of these calls with me, hopefully you're in for a treat today because this is something that where I get a real chance to dig in and share my biggest challenges for this past year, my biggest wins, the successes, the biggest learning lessons that I've had, but also really starting to give you a jump start for that next year ahead. I want to hopefully leave you on this call, y'all, inspired, motivated, changed a little bit. That's my aim in a big way. So, guys, as you're popping in here, we've got people coming in from Facebook, from YouTube, here live on our actual page. Team, if you guys can link up the actual live view page for everybody there, because the resources are over there. So guys, make sure to click the link that my team is going to send through for the live view page, because the resources for this call are over there. So let's go to carrot.com/epic-live. That's carrot.com/epic-live. And grab the resources. I'll kind of walk you through what those resources are here in a second. But guys, as you're popping in, let me know where you're calling in from. Where are you calling in from, guys? Are you a Carrot customer? Are you someone from my community, my local community in Roseburg, friend, family? But let me know who you are, where you're calling in from, and why the heck you're showing up here today. Who you are, where you calling in from, why you're showing up today. Let me know in that comments box. And also, guys, it'll help me do a little tech check. Is my audio coming through good? Is my video coming through good? Give me a quick double yes. 2 yeses, double yes. If my audio is coming through, video is coming through. We've got Chris Teague. What's up, man? Awesome, dude. Yeah, Chris, he had a chance to stop by our office there in Roseburg. Shoot, this is probably a year or two ago. Stopped and did a workout with me. Brand new Carrot customer as well. Love it, man. Welcome on here, buddy. Love it. Amazing. We got Steven, new Carrot customer, ready to go. Beautiful. Thanks, guys, for the audio and video check. Marco, Sandra, welcome on in. Troy, Nashville. It's where my younger brother lives. He's out here for Christmas with his fiance, but he's absolutely loving Nashville, preparing for an awesome 2024. We've got Mike. Amazing Mike. What's up, buddy? We've got Ice Vibes in Denver, Colorado. Mike from Boise. Cheryl, amazing new member, hybrid in VA. So, guys, keep on popping this through as you're coming in. Let me know who you are, where you're calling in from, and why the heck you're on this call, because we strategically put this call between New Year's and Christmas for a reason. During that time, I think things slow down a little bit, and it's a perfect opportunity for us to really pull back and think about the year ahead and reflect on this year. And I'm going to give you some tools and resources. I'm going to pull up my iPad and do some drawing with you guys too. And I'm hoping that we all leave this call with an identity shift, with a shift into the person that we want to become in the year ahead, and with the tools to be able to get there as well. Let's see, we've got Steve, East Lansing. Amazing, all over the place, y'all. So where I am right now, I'm actually where I grew up in Klamath Falls. So this is the Running Y Resort. That's the golf course back there. This was a property we actually picked up in 2012 at the bottom of the market. That's a whole nother call. We're not talking about how to get properties at a deep discount in this call. But we picked this one up at a major discount, and we've had this in our family ever since. So about 10 years now, 10 years plus. And we always enjoy coming down here for Christmas, and we get to hang out with our family, which is across town. But that's where I'm doing it. I'm out of Klamath Falls, Oregon right now. We got Willie Williams, LA. So, guys, I'm going to dig in right now. And what I want you to do is I want you to clear all distractions, okay? Because if you're going to invest this time today, guys, there's nothing to buy. I'm not going to be selling anything. I'm going to be showing you guys how we can help you more in the future in this year to help unlock some of your goals. But my aim today, y'all, is just to help you really drive things forward, adjust the mindset, get some motivation, get some inspiration, tackle some of your biggest opportunities and challenges in the year ahead with a completely different mindset, hopefully. Amazing right here. We've got Jay from Klamath Falls just down the road from me. Marco, my virtual assistant. Amazing. Love it, guys. So I'm going to share my screen here now. And I'm going to walk you through some of my favorite books of the year, some of my favorite quotes of the year. I'm going to walk you through the biggest challenges I've had this year, the biggest wins I've had this year. And I'm going to be crazy vulnerable with you guys because I've found that the more we get real with the challenges that we're going through in life, The more that we get real with really recognizing the wins and not just letting those pass by, the more we can really get clear on what we want and how we're going to get there. All right, guys. So what today's call is about, it's the epic planning call for 2024. And I've titled this one Growing Through the Pain Lines in Business and Life to Become the Person You Are Put on Earth to Be. Okay, guys, we're going to be going through growing through the pain lines in business and life to become the person you were put on earth to be. All right. And I'm going to show you this page really quick here, because on this page down here, you should be able to get these resources. The one we're going to be using today in specifics is going to be this one right here. So if you click this one, you can print it off really quick. You can pull it on your iPad. But about halfway through the call, we're going to pull this up and actually walk through and start the process of planning your personal life for the year ahead. And I'm going to walk you through and kind of back end in how then you use that personal planning to move in to make your business planning more and more clear. Okay. Team, if you guys can work with Steven, I just clicked the link on my end and it did download at least the third one. But team, if you guys can check out all these resources and make sure that they're coming up, that would be perfecto. And so I have this quote hanging on my wall. I've had it hanging on my wall for years, and this is one of my goals as entrepreneurs for our clients here at Carrot, but also just entrepreneurs that aren't our Carrot customers. Right? It's my friend down the road. It's the person walking into my office in Roseburg that's having a challenge in their business. And oftentimes we get into business for one certain reason. Right? We get into business to make some money and hopefully get some freedom. But sometimes we let the money part of it control that business and that energy, and the freedom part of it starts to slip away. And maybe you don't own a business. Maybe you're a friend of mine or a family member, and you're on this call to hopefully get a little bit of motivation, or you're looking to step into the next identity of yourself. You're seeing a brighter future. You turned into a dreamer, and now you want to step into maybe dreaming bigger. And hopefully this call can be that. But at least for me, y'all, the ultimate goal as an entrepreneur isn't money. Okay, it's complete control over your time. And I'm going to show you some of the ways I did that better this year, made some big hires. I want to inspire you to look for that right next hire for you. And I'm going to show you some ways I really had some big challenges in this spot also. But this is what I want to have you keep in the back of your mind. The ultimate goal as an entrepreneur isn't money, it's complete control of your time. I'm going to read this passage, guys, from this book right here. And if you're just now coming in, y'all, introduce yourself in the chat box. Let me know who you are, where you're calling in from, and why the heck you're calling in this morning. Why are you investing this time between Christmas and New Year's to get ready for the year? Why the heck are you here, guys? I want to make sure that you're pumped and you're clear why you're investing this time together. But this quote here, I encourage everybody to get this book. This book is a book I'm reading every year now. The first time I read this book, it's called The 5 Major Pieces to the Life Puzzle by Jim Rohn. Okay, The 5 Major Pieces to the Life Puzzle by Jim Rohn. The first time I read this book was back in, I think it's probably 2008. And I started writing some notes all over the book. I've got it dog-eared. I've got notes. And I picked this book up again a few more years ago. And I said, I wonder if this book that was completely transformational for me back in 2008, it changed my life. It changed the way that I think about life, the way I think about success. Jim Rohn is an amazing leader, faith-based leader as well. And I pulled it up as I was going through my next pain line, 2-3 years ago. And I said, I wonder if this book can be another unlock for me. Maybe I need to get back to my roots. Maybe I need to get back to that foundation of that mindset that got me through the initial pain lines before I started my companies. And guys, this book right here is as relevant if you're making 100 million a year, or as relevant if you're making 100,000 a year, or if you're trying to get to your first 100,000. Guys, get this book, easy, simple read. But this quote's out of this book. The future rewards are always there waiting for us. As certainly as we once dreamed, we can dream again. As surely as we once believed, we can believe again. No matter where we are right now, we still have the ability to change it all. The journey towards success is a journey of 1,000 steps, and it begins with a single book or a single promise kept or a single webinar like this before the new year, where we're getting to join together and hang out for a couple hours. It begins with the awakening of our sleeping spirit, brought on by the dreams of all that could be. Any day we choose, y'all, any day we choose, we can stand up and take the first step on a journey that can lead us to a new and better way of life. We must not expect the results merely because we've begun the activity, but with continued effort in certain steps, they will surely come for our future rewards. Guys, the reason I'm starting this call off with this is at the end of the year, you're probably in one of two camps. I want you guys to let me know in the comments box where you guys are on one of these two camps. You're either so high on the successes you had this year where you're like, dude, I nailed every goal. I've got momentum. I'm picking up. I am pumped about amplifying that momentum this next year and 10xing that. If that's the camp that you're in, pop a note in the comments box. Yes, I'm here. I'm in momentum. I crushed this year. I'm on a high and I'm really pushing forward. But a lot of us might be in a different camp where you set some big goals coming into this year. Maybe the economy or the real estate market hit you, or maybe you lost your job, or maybe you had some family issues or health problems, and the year just kind of beat you down, right? Maybe you're in that camp where the year just beat you down, and you're at the end of the year now where a lot of your goals weren't hit. You have less energy than how you started the year. You have less confidence because maybe you didn't stick to some of those habits you wanted to keep for the year. And now you're wondering, is my future brighter, or did I live my best years? Is my future bigger, or should I reduce my goals and my dreams a little bit to where they're easier and quote unquote more attainable, more realistic? All right, guys, let me know if you're in that camp, that the years kind of beat you down. You're looking for a jump start. You're looking for a recharge. You're looking for a way to step forward into 2024 with new energy, with new perspective. And you want to have this next year be the best year ever. You don't want to have 2023 be your best year ever. You want to have next year be your best year ever. Then the next year be the new best year. Then the next year. Let me know, guys, which camp you are sitting in. Now, the name of that book, Ice Vibes, was The 5 Major Pieces to the Life Puzzle by Jim Rohn. All right, guys. So I want to help this be this time with you be that jump start. And you're going to see a lot of drawings in today's call, guys. You're going to see a lot of drawings. I've got my iPad up here too. We're going to be switching back and forth between slides and just interactive iPad. And one of the things I really internalized this year is that we're all on a journey, right? And this journey isn't unique, honestly. You're unique. Your journey is unique as far as every little step you make, and the person that you are, that person has never been, that person will never be again. And every decision you made is never going to be replicated exactly alike. Now there's going to be echoes of those things over time, but no one is going to be just like you in the time that you are making the decisions that you are, being able to do the things that you're doing. Okay. But we're all on a similar journey, and we all start with this right here, right? We're all on this path and we move from left to right, and we're hoping that we're going to move towards success in some way, shape, or form. But there's 4 potential paths or 4 potential spots that we can end up in a year or 3 years or 5 years or even 6 months. And this is something I'm always trying to catch a barometer for myself and say, where am I at? Where am I moving towards? Am I moving towards the area that I want to move towards in life? And what happens is at the bottom end of that is failure. That's where we set these goals, we set these intentions, and you know what? We drifted too much and we just fail. And I'm going to talk about what that looks like. Just up from that is frustration. And frustration is a spot, guys, it's crazy, crazy common. That's probably the most common out of all these buckets, because oftentimes we're hard on ourselves, right? We set these goals and we create these gaps in our mind, and we create these frustrations that pop up on the daily basis. We miss a habit that we're trying to set. We fail on that habit, and then we feel frustration, and we start to see that same pattern in other parts of our lives. Okay. But then the next rung up is success. We have some level of success. We reach some of the goals we want to reach. We genuinely feel like we're in a great spot in life, and we're grateful for that. But what I want to really aim everyone for on today's call is transformation. I want to have us aim for the top rung here. Most people are just aiming for the success bucket. You look at the 3 things: failure, frustration, or success. But I actually want to have everyone aspire to something bigger, to aspire towards transformation in your life, and transformation in your business, transformation in your soul. And the way that these happen is when we move towards success. Oftentimes success is kind of fleeting, and we tend to move into default mode. We just keep doing what we're already doing, right? And we might have some level of success this year, but then it goes down. Then we kind of snap things back up and get motivated again. Then we have some level of success and it goes down. But we always stick to our default. We stick to what's comfortable, right? The habits that we have, the business model that we have, the friend group and peer group that we have, the identity that we're stepping into, the habits and disciplines and everything. We step into what's comfortable and say, oh man, I'm not sure if I'm ready to step into big change here. And so you move in and out of success, frustration, success, frustration, success. Can anyone relate to that? Is anyone in that spot right now, or have you been in that spot? Okay, the other spot is we get to failure by drifting. Okay, we're in success, frustration, success, and then we're in frustration enough where our confidence starts to get hit. Right? We start to go, oh my gosh, maybe that was a fluke that I had with that last business working. Or man, you know what? I just don't know why I can't crack through this. And you start to give up because your confidence got hit by not showing up the way that you want to so many times. Your habits, you drop those habits once again and you drift. What does drifting look like, y'all? Drifting is when we start to bring our vices into our life. What are those vices that always bring you down? Okay, it could be alcohol. It could be numbing those feelings and pain with some sort of substance, alcohol, drugs, anything like that. That could be a drift for you. Another drift for you could be literally picking up your phone and rather than reading a book that's going to help you move towards the better life, you pick up your phone and scroll on Instagram. That could be drifting. It's distraction. Distraction is a form of drifting. Okay, it could be any other thing, sins, vices that pop up for you that are could be anything that you're going, oh my gosh, when I get done doing this, I feel a little bit guilty, and I know that it didn't move me forward. When we start to do those too much, we drift. Where we want to go, guys, is design. Up in this upper box, the way we get to transformation is truly designing the life that we want, stepping into that life, visualizing that life, becoming the person that is able to live that life. And I'm going to walk you through in today's call some things that you can do to end up in this top 10% bucket of transformation. When I really talk with a lot of people, whether they're entrepreneurs or not an entrepreneur, people kind of end up falling into one of these four categories about on this bell curve. Okay, this isn't exact science, but this is from my experience talking to people. Okay, only about 10% will truly fail. Now, the ones that stay down in failure, the ones that haven't learned the principles, the foundational mindsets I'm going to be teaching today. And if you're in that spot where you've just been on a repeated pattern of failure, guys, this calls for you. I want you to be able to have the things to really pull out of that mode and move and skip right past frustration into success and hopefully into transformation. My goal is to have you guys jump up and skip a rung. I want you, if you're in failure, I want you to jump up to success. And if you're in frustration, I want you to jump up to transformation. If you're in success, I want you to move towards transformation. But most of you on this call are probably in the frustration bucket. Okay. You might be leaning into success sometimes, but then you go back into frustration because you're not moving forward in the things that you want to. Some of you may have had some amazing transformation, but let me know, guys. Let me know, guys, where you are in this in this continuum. Are you in the failure bucket? Man, I've had too many failures. Are you in frustration? Are you in success right now? You're pumped about the momentum. You're going to take it forward. Or are you right now truly in the spot where you are a transformed person? You fully transformed this year and you're stepping into just your greatest calling right now. Let me know, guys, in that comments box where you are. What's up, George? Awesome, buddy. Appreciate you, man. Good to see you too. Let me know in that comments box, guys. And I want you all to participate, 100% participation on this call. Because if you're showing up on this call distracted by Facebook or distracted by something else, the investment of time on this call isn't going to be worth it for you. Okay, so shut everything down and use this 2 hours to have intention for the next 365 days. If you can't use this 2 hours to get intention and momentum and inspiration for the next 365 days, then I would really, really question your commitment to moving past the frustration zone. If you're in frustration zone, focus on this call. If you're not in frustration zone and you're in failure zone, definitely focus on this call. Guys, this is going to help you move past it. And the way that I'm going to be teaching is through a model I created about 5 or 6 years ago. I was at a coffee shop across the street from my office. I was sitting there writing down the different thoughts going through my mind. And I was saying, like, what is entrepreneurship? Because when we hit those hard times in life, guys, when we hit those hard times in business, we oftentimes question ourselves. We question whether we should be in business or not. We question whether we should just go get a job. We question whether we should be moving towards that big goal in business or fitness or relationships. And I want you to kind of peg what you may be feeling right now and put yourself on this continuum somewhere. Okay. For me, the goal of entrepreneurship, the goal of business, or we could even say the goal of me as a human, is to create the freedom that I desire for myself, my family, those around me, from the things that hold us back from making the greatest impact. I want to be able to create the freedom and make the greatest impact I possibly can while I'm here in this earth. And business should only be a vehicle to do that. Business should only be a vehicle to amplify that. The second that business becomes the roadblock between you and freedom and impact is the second that business needs to change. And the second the business needs to change, y'all, is when you need to change, because the business will change when you change. And I'm going to walk you through some of those changes you can make in this year ahead to be able to step into more freedom and impact. So let me kind of walk through this, guys. Pop in the comments box. Are you feeling right now with your business, or maybe you have a job and you're not an entrepreneur, and that's amazing as well, but you feel like your work is impactful, you have consistent income, but man, your business or your job owns you. If you don't feel like you've got the time freedom, if you don't feel like you have the flexibility, if you feel like work has become your life versus your work supporting your life, you're in the hustle and grind mode. Impactful work, I like my work, the income's pretty decently consistent, but man, my business owns me or my job owns me. Let me know if you guys are in the hustle and grind mode. Okay, the next one is, man, I'm making good money and I've got time. I bought my time back, but I'm really empty. I feel empty inside. I feel like I'm lacking true purpose and meaning. I feel like, man, I look at myself in the mirror every day and I was wondering, man, I thought the angels were going to sing, the clouds were going to part when I hit this spot in my business or when I hit this spot in my career. And all that I feel now is just emptiness. Everything with getting my time back, everything with all this flexibility, everything with all this freedom, everything with building up a consistent business is good. They're not bad things. But man, I thought they would lead to purpose. I thought they would lead to more fulfillment. That's the lifestyle business mode. Lifestyle business is okay for a period of time until you start to feel empty. Let me know, guys, if you're in the lifestyle business mode. Okay. We've got Steven saying, man, I feel a little bit empty. Okay. Right here, Chris Teague, hustle and grind mode. Isham, hustle and grind mode. Okay, then the last one over here is you enjoy your work. Man, I really like my work. I feel like I'm making an impact. I feel like I'm truly helping people. I wake up in the morning decently excited about my work more days than not. But man, my income is up and down like this. I've got time to enjoy things. I've got some hobbies. You know, I enjoy those things. I didn't lose my hobbies. I didn't lose my friend group. But man, I can tell you it's stressful every single month because I don't know how much money I'm going to make next month, let alone be able to predict what I'm going to make in 3 or 6 months. How many's in that bucket? That's a passion project. That means, man, you're doing stuff you care about, but you haven't figured out how to unlock that income yet. Okay, we've got Steve under the lifestyle business. We've got some hustle and grinds here. We've got some people that are in the frustration mode, distraction mode, frustration, wanting to move from frustration to success. Guys, the reason I bring this call up and the reason we have this call every single year is because I am you, right? I'm going through the exact same journeys, and I'm going to walk you guys through how I've grown over the years, but also what my biggest lessons, stumbling blocks were this year. When I would drop this Tony Robbins quote on you, identity is this incredible invisible force that controls your whole life. It's invisible, like gravity is invisible, but it controls your whole life. Guys, I'm going to be talking about identity a lot today because identity was really my theme as I reflect and look back in 2023. Identity was my major theme as I kind of tied this string between all my successes and all my challenges for the year and the trials I've gone through. Everything ties back to identity. I'm going to show you what I've done this year to transform and step into a new identity for the future. And also some of the things that can jump up that can kind of trap us in that identity. So y'all, you're at the right place. If you keep chasing the next goal or achievement, but find it never brings lasting joy or fulfillment, and you know there's got to be more in life, you're on the right place in this call. Okay. You're at the right place if you've already achieved your someday goals that you set years ago, but you're still not as happy and fulfilled as you thought that you would be. Right? I want to help you unlock that joy more. Or you feel like you're working your butt off, but not getting closer to your ultimate goals, or your goals keep shifting. It's this moving target. You're at the right place, y'all. Okay. Every year you have the same goals. You set them, you reset them, you move those goals that you had last year into the new year because you didn't achieve them. And you thought, man, maybe I should just aim a little bit lower, or maybe this is just too hard for me. Okay. Maybe you're at the right place if you're feeling that. And if you are feeling that, guys, that's okay. That's normal. I want you to know and have confidence and comfort that that's normal. Every single thing that you're seeing on here is normal, and there's a path and a plan to break through it. You're at the right place if you want a better system for setting and achieving goals that sets you up for success in the new year. I'm going to show you what mine is. I'm going to give you mine. You're at the right place if you dip into the entrepreneur's funk but don't know how to get out of it. Okay, guys, if you've been grinding for months or years and things just don't seem to be breaking through for you, that you start each day kind of feeling overwhelmed at everything you have to do and the little time that you've got to do it. You're at the right place, y'all. If you keep hitting against the wall and you can't crack through to reach your vision for success, whatever that vision is, and you keep getting discouraged, guys, you're at the right place. If you want to find ways to create more happiness and joy in life and business, but you don't quite know how to do that. All right, guys. So who the heck am I? One slide on this, and we're going to dive into my lessons and a quick review of my year. And I want to help you when I'm reviewing my year. I want you guys to also reflect on your year. Okay. But who am I? That's me and my family. That's actually from last Christmas. It's my beautiful wife, Carly. We went to high school together, college together, and have three amazing young kids. Sydney on the left is our little firecracker, our gymnast, our youngest. Colton in the middle. He's my lamb shower, Mr. Responsible. He's already an entrepreneur at 11 years old. And then we've got McKinley, our oldest, just the sweetest little girl, loves dancing, loves anything around beauty. It's just so fun raising these kids. Now, outside of the personal life, my business life, I have a company called Carrot. I have amazing 50 plus amazing team members. I've learned so much over this past year about leadership. I'll kind of share some of those lessons and some areas that I was faltering and still am working on. But the things I'm most proud of, guys, yeah, we've hit the Inc. 5,500 list 5 years. We were the fastest growing software company in Oregon for 2 years. But the thing I'm the most proud of is how can we use that business for impact, right? This right here, this call is not a money-making call for me. This call is because I want to create impact. I want to change lives with this business. And also we really focus on philanthropy. We've been in the top 10, top 20 most philanthropic small businesses in Oregon multiple years. And I want to inspire you guys to do the same. I want to inspire you guys to take your goals for this next year ahead and not just think about you and the money side of it. I want you to think about you and the impact side of it. I want you to think about in your goals as you're planning them, how can my business impact others outside of just a normal day-to-day operations? Is it a 1% give program like we've done where we donate 1% of our gross revenue to causes that matter to us and our team members? I don't care what it is, but I want you guys to focus on how can this business do good for the year ahead. All right, guys. So let's really dive in and get this whole thing kicked off for real now with the meat and potatoes. You're going to hear, like I said, some vulnerability from me today in a big way. And I had this slide up on the Epic planning call last year. Okay, I have a whole section on here on urgency every single year. And urgency for me is always one of those big tools or checkpoints or whatever you want to call it. But urgency for me is something that when I feel like I'm overwhelmed, when I feel like I'm feeling bad about not hitting my goals, when I feel like, man, I can just kind of wait on becoming the best version of myself, it seems like life kind of just slams into me and reminds me that we're not going to be here forever, right? Life reminds us in ways that sometimes are good and sometimes are not good, and ones that we don't want those trials in our life. But what I can tell you is that time offers opportunity, but demands urgency, y'all. Okay, time offers opportunity, but demands urgency. Yeah, Troy, we'll get you guys these slides for sure. Yep. What we'll do, team, if you guys can make this note, we'll turn these slides into a PDF. We'll upload them on the live view page after this call. So after the call, let's say tomorrow, refresh the page and the slide deck will be up there. So let's kind of talk about urgency a little bit, because I can talk all the time in the world, y'all, about a goal planning process. I can talk about the learning lessons that I had this year. I can help you reflect on your year. I can help you set goals. But what happens is we start to now get into the normal day-to-day life and the urgency slips away. The urgency of our impending death, guys, right? We are all terminal. I want you guys to think about that. We're all terminal. I'm going to tell you about a very challenging situation that my family is going through here in a bit. But when you walk into a doctor's office or you talk with a doctor on a call and you hear the words terminal, you hear the words can't cure, you hear the words that basically in an instant shrink everything down to what's most important and say all this other stuff out here is no longer important, guys. We had that experience this year, and I'm going to share it with you. So hopefully it can be a point of inspiration for you to step into remembering urgency is so important. Why, when someone seems serious about making these changes, they roam aimlessly in circles, not making progress? It's comfort, right? We're comfortable with where we are. We move into the default mode I talked about earlier in this call. We're in default mode. You're going to aimlessly move through success, frustration, because urgency is not there the way that it can be. You have a house, you have a car, your bills are getting paid, you have all of your needs taken care of. You're in the comfort zone. Urgency doesn't crop up for us at that point. We oftentimes lack desperation or inspiration to drive us forward, right? Something drove us forward in the past to where we are today. If you look back and reflect on your previous goals you'd set in life that you've already achieved today, something drove you forward. You were either in a desperation mode. Oh my gosh, I need to pay my bills. I need to be able to get out of this situation. It was taking care of your basic needs. Or inspiration. Man, I was so inspired and struck by something today that I want to step into this new life, into this new vision, into this thing that excites me. You're either running away from something that you don't like in your life, or you're running towards something that you want to create in your life. But what happens in between those moments where we don't have desperation because we're beyond our needs already, and we haven't found the next thing to give us inspiration? Hopefully this call is for that. When we're in the comfort zone, it affects our hearing. We stop hearing the ticking clock and we think that we have all the time in the world. And unwittingly, we squander the present moment. We scroll through the phone. We're watching TV. You're binging on Netflix. You start to use entertainment. We entertain ourselves rather than preparing ourselves. I'm going to talk about what preparing ourselves looks like. Now, guys, I don't want you to see this as entertainment's a bad thing. I love entertainment. Okay, I can binge on the Netflix show with the best of them. I like scrolling through Instagram sometimes. I love going and bowling. I love going and golfing. I'm not saying those things are bad and we should always be focused on our goals. That's not the case. But what I'm going to be walking through is how we can focus on that present moment more, especially for those of us who naturally stay in the future. It's hard for me to be in the present moment. Let me know, guys, if you guys can relate to that you're a future-based person, you're a dreamer, you're always pulling things forward, and you've got to really get intentional about getting into the present moment. If that's the case, I want to show you some things that have worked for me. Okay. So more thoughts on urgency. Without urgency, the next week, the next month, the next year, decade may be wasted. Just like the past week, the past month, or the year before. And I want you to picture this year. And I want you to ask yourself, what goals did you have in your life? And I'm not just talking business goals. You'll include that in there, but what goals did you have for your business and life this year? How'd you do on those? Celebrate the ones quickly, mentally that you did well on. Acknowledge the fact that you did great there. But what about the ones that you kept delaying? What about the ones where you kept getting distracted or letting distraction help make you drift off away from your goals? How much time did you waste this year in stuff that isn't going to matter a day after you see that Instagram post? Or how many weeks or days did you waste this year that you're never going to remember in a month or 6 months or 2 years? Okay. And we all have those. So don't feel bad about those. Just recognize where we want to change and improve for the year ahead, right? More thoughts on urgency, guys. We must impose upon ourselves a new discipline and develop a new attitude about life that motivates us and inspires us before we self-sabotage and slide backwards. When that happens, urgency is naturally created because it turns into an emergency. Guys, I'm going to talk about the 3 S's when we hit our pain lines today. What are those pain lines? I'm going to break down all the pain lines from $0 to $10 million and plus as a business owner. If you're not a business owner, I'm going to show you how these can relate to you as well. But what happens is we sabotage, we start to move backwards, and then we have an emergency, which then we get motivated again. Okay. I want to make it so we don't have those. That's where we drift, and that's where we're not moving into a designed life. Let me show you this with a visual. Okay, I grabbed this from waitbutwhy.com. He creates amazing visuals that are just so striking. And he did this this graphic that kind of shows the average human life, right? So if 90 years old is kind of that high average, and every one of these dots is, I believe each one of these dots is a month. Yep, each one of those dots is a month. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1 year, one row is 3 years. I just turned 41 this year, so I'm right around here. So according to this graphic, if I live that average life of 90 or so, I'm just about halfway there. Right now, this shouldn't depress you. It should motivate you to say, I want to create urgency right now. 60th birthday, you have more than 2/3 of that average life to live. Okay, now we have some amazing years ahead to create some perfect moments. My parents are right here. right? My grandma is right around here. Okay. So as much as putting yourself on this continuum, I want you to think about the people that you care about, the people that you love. Where are they on here? How many rows, how many circles do they have left? What if you don't know how many circles that they have left? What if they are right here? Okay. And you're assuming they've got all these months left, all these months left, all these years left. But what if they don't? What if you only visit your parents twice a year because you live out of town? And that means you get 2 visits a year. If they've got a solid 10 years left in their life, you have 20 visits, y'all. 20 visits. You don't have 10 years with them, you have 20 visits with them. How much more special does that make every single visit? And how much does that make you want to now increase the amount of visits that you have with them? Okay. Lock this in, guys. The people that you care about most, your kids. Let me show the kids. So my children are 9, 11, and 13. It hit my wife and I this year that our 13-year-old is going into high school next year, which is insane. It sounds mind-boggling to us. And so high school, my niece, my oldest niece, she's graduating high school this year. I can remember Christmases when she was this little 8, 9, 10-year-old, the same age as my kids. So if you have a kid that's 13 years old and they're going to be moving out of the house when they're 18, I've got 5 summers left with my oldest daughter in the house. Okay. I've got 5 birthdays with her to celebrate. I've got 5 years of opportunities to create magical moments. I've got 5 years of opportunities to have her and my wife shape her into the young woman she's going to become. Those are the things that give me urgency. Let me know in the comments box, guys, if this is relating to you, if this is hitting you. So what we're going to dive in today to unlock that urgency is my 2023 summary, my top 3 books of the year. I want to share them with you guys. My 3 biggest learnings and mindset shifts. And those learnings are this. Let me take a drink of water real quick. The first one, y'all, is pain lines are real. Okay. I've talked about pain lines a lot. I'm going to show you my new deeper definition of the different pain lines as an entrepreneur from 0 to 10 million plus. I want you to identify where you are and give you a path out of that. But growing through those pain lines requires internal change first. I'm going to walk you through the internal change I've been going through this year, moving into this next year as well. The next biggest learning lesson, y'all, is 10x thinking is easier than 2x thinking. It's want versus need-based motivation. This was a massive unlock for me about halfway through the year. Not a new lesson, a relearned lesson that became even more important. I realized how important and impactful it is. And change is about identity, not habits. This is something that as you're looking at the year ahead and you're looking at the habits you want to put in place, why is it, y'all, that gyms are the most full in the month of January, and then 80% of the people who signed up in January don't show up in February, March, April, May? It's not because they didn't have the capacity to move into that new habit of driving to the gym and working out. It's not because they couldn't do it. It's not because they didn't want to do it. They wanted to do it. It's because they were hoping that a habit or habit triggers and everything that we learned in Atomic Habits, the book, which is a great book, but it's missing a key element. We hope that the habit triggers and all that goes with habits are going to change our life. They can, but it only happens after we change our identity. And I'm going to show you guys what that looks like. We're going to walk into planning the epic year ahead for the 2024, give you my goal planning template, 1-page business plan template, and then open up for Q&A at the end, guys. So what I want you to do right now is go over here in the live view page. If you're not here already, scroll down. And these ones here are just resources for you later. I'm not going to go through those today. But grab this one here, print that off, or just bring it up with you. We're going to go through that at a really high level. I'm not going to go through every little piece of it. But a lot of what I'm going through there is kind of reflected over in this presentation. All right. So guys, as you're stepping into your intention for the year ahead, it's not if we meet trials, but when. And it's really how we react to those trials that matter. I pulled this from James 1. I remember when my friend and mentor, Seth Bueckley, Brady Winder, who's on our team, and another good friend, we all made it a goal to memorize all of James 1 a couple of years back. And I remember vividly just going like, man, I always have a real challenge memorizing scripture. And I have a real challenge pulling from scripture to help help counsel others through scripture. And God placed it on our hearts this year to dive into James 1, because since then, I have had so many major trials in my life, y'all. And this scripture, this part of the Bible has been so valuable for me. Count it all joy when you meet trials of various kinds, for the trials produce steadfastness, and let that steadfastness make you perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. Guys, the one thing that we're guaranteed in the Bible is trials. Okay, all of us are going to live trials. The one thing we're guaranteed in life is trials. None of us are guaranteed success. None of us are guaranteed to be a millionaire. None of us are even guaranteed happiness and joy. Now, you can have happiness and joy. You can step into that. I'm going to show you some things that I have been doing in my life to have more consistent joy and perfect moments. But the one thing that we're all going to encounter are trials. And as long as we locked it into our minds and we remember, and as we reflect in 2023 on those trials, we ask ourselves, what do we learn? And so as I look at really reflecting in 2023, I brought this book in as one of my top books. I think this is probably 3 or 4 years ago, called Chasing Daylight. If you've been to a carrot camp recently, we've given Chasing Daylight to a lot of our carrot campers. In this book, I want to read this passage from this book. It was a transformational book for me. And this book has so much more meaning for me now than it did then. And I'll tell you guys why here in a second. This year changed the meaning of this book, which was already massively impactful for me. Okay. So in this, Eugene O'Kelly says, perfect moments more often make time stretch out and the years become more fruitful. Time slows down, senses arouse. Everything in those moments is just right. These moments are what make life sweet. Busyness makes having perfect moments hard. Examples of perfect moments are a shared glance, letters to loved ones, phone calls, walks in the park, fabulous meals, intimate conversations. Eugene O'Kelly wrote this book after he was diagnosed with a terminal cancer. And he decided to pull back and say, let me reflect on my life and write my story as a high achieving CEO. He was the CEO of KPMG, one of the big 4 accounting firms, multi-billion-dollar organization. He was the CEO for 10 years at that company. And when he was diagnosed with this terminal cancer, he went and fought it. But he said, let me really pull back and ask myself, what did I learn in all of my life up to this point? He did end up passing away from that cancer. But guys, the lessons in this are so magical. And the biggest one I took away was perfect moments. So I'm going to share with you some of the perfect moments for me in 2023. And what I want to encourage you guys to do this as well. Pull back, guys, pull back for 15, 20 minutes today at the end of this call. Go into your phone, your camera deal, and pull up your photos. And it's such a cool thing. At least it is for me, because we take a lot of photos in our phones, and just scroll through those pictures for the year, y'all. Reflect on some of those cool experiences maybe that you forgot about. Reflect on the amazing, perfect moments that you did have in your life, and start to sit in that gratitude, sit in that feeling, sit in that joy of the great year that you did have. Okay, no matter how hard those trials are, there was joy this year. I want you to celebrate that joy. Okay, that's a big deal, guys. Celebrate that joy. This right here is my wife and I at a marriage retreat earlier in the year, and that's something we really focus on our marriage. Madly in love with my wife, with Carly, and man, I couldn't do anything that I've been able to achieve in life or business without her. And she's such an amazing person. Now, she watched my call last year, and I revealed what her birthday present was. Her birthday's on January 6th, because I didn't think she was going to watch it. So I don't know if she's watching today, but we created a perfect moment for her birthday earlier in the year. And I'll kind of show you some of those pictures. This is it right here. She loves concerts, and we went to watch a Maroon 5 concert, and she's always wanted to see Maroon 5 in concerts. We went to Vegas during the residency. And I always try to live, what's called the front row lifestyle, the front row life, where anytime you do an amazing experience, try to get the front row version of that, whether it's a front row in a concert, or whether it's, front row at the football stadium, or whatever it is. You buy the VIP ticket to the event. If you can afford it, start to get the front row. It completely transforms that experience. So we didn't get front row because they weren't available, but I think it was second or third row. Amazing concert. Great time with my wife in Vegas. Then we hopped a plane, went to Tampa. I spoke at an event. Her first time she got to see me speak in person, and she got to meet a lot of my friends as well. An amazing time. On the fitness side of it, one thing you guys will hear from me that was a big theme of mine for 2023 was blank plus fellowship. Blank plus fellowship is try to do anything that I want to, any of those goals in my life, add fellowship to the mix. If I want to get in shape or do better there, do it with friends. right? If I want to really step into my faith, do it with a group of people. If I want to chase some big goals in business, do it with business partners, do it with great people. And so this is my college buddy. We played baseball together, Jake Desmond. He's always up for a challenge. And so it was probably like 3 weeks before this half marathon that my wife and I had signed up for. I call up Jake. I'm like, Jake, dude, I know you're game for anything. You want to do a half marathon with me in 3 weeks? And he debated on it, and he said yes. He showed up, and he crushed it. We literally talked for 2 hours, and it was such a fun experience. I got in really good shape about 4 or 5 years ago. I honestly kind of lost some of it and got some of it back this year, so that was pretty cool. But that happened because of being able to go out there with friends. This is one of our carrot camps. This carrot camp was probably one of my favorite ones. All of them are amazing, but this one was amazing as well. That was our May camp. One thing, another perfect moment we created intentionally for the year is we said, we want to create some new traditions. We want to create some new things in our life for our family. And we decided when our kids turn 13, they get to go pick a trip anywhere in the United States with just us, me, Carly, my wife, and that kid. And so my daughter McKinley turned 13 this year, and she's always wanted to go to New York City. She thinks she's a city girl. So we went to New York City for 5 days. We watched Broadway show. We went to the Empire State Building. We ate cannolis. We ate lots of pizza. We went shopping on Fifth Avenue, all kinds of cool things. And it was just such a lifelong experience and perfect moment. For every day was a perfect moment during that. Here's another one, doing it with friends. So I started a mastermind about 10 years ago, guys, just gathering people that I love, people I want to hang out with. And this I hope is a lesson for you guys, because if you don't have the finances to go join a big expensive $20,000 mastermind, or if you don't, if you wanted to start to craft your own, this group, y'all, I created in 2010. It was before any of us had any real success in business. We had big dreams, but we said, let's live life together. Let's get this group of 10, 12, 15 people. Let's live life together over time. Let's have our families be a part of these events. Let's have our wives come. Our wives are great friends now. This is from our mastermind in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. My friend Matt Andrews right there, other friends. We're horseback riding. Our wives are there. Amazing, perfect moment, y'all. Crafting these moments. I'm going to buzz through these. We wrapped up the renovation for one of our downtown historical properties, getting residential upstairs, retail downstairs. I love working with my son. That was one of my best moments from growing up in my own childhood, is working with my dad, going out there and building things and building ponds and hammering and using how to learning how to use a drill gun or a staple gun like this. And so Colton and I went and built another lamb shelter for his lamb project. He's got 3 lambs now. Carrot Camp, being able to teach amazing people like Kylie and Anthony Beckham here. I got the design done for our house. We moved into a house in the North Umpqua River in 2016. And we're moving into now getting all these projects done. But it was really cool having a visual. We're going to talk vision a lot on this call, y'all. It was amazing having a visual of what the house is going to become, so we could sit in that. We could have joy in that. We could be pumped about this visual. That was us walking through Central Park, my wife or my daughter and I. But the big thing I think that really defined this year, there's been so many blessings out of this as well, y'all, is a trial. And I'll probably going to get emotional talking about this here, but that's my dad on the left with our dog Lily, and that's my dad on the right with me at this amazing, the world's best classic car collection. My dad loves classic cars. He's always watching the Barrett-Jackson auctions. He's got 3 classic cars at home. It's been a passion of his ever since I can remember. And we had a chance to go to the world's best classic car collection. It's got over 600 cars in this collection. There were 200 something in this car in this lot, and it was a lifelong experience, perfect moment. But the thing that made that so special was this trip was booked, I think, in August. At the end of August, I got a phone call from my brother, and they said, start choking up. They said they were rushing my dad to the hospital. And if you guys remember last year at this time, that was one of the kind of reality checks for me too, is that my dad was rushed to the hospital. They thought that he had a heart attack, and he hadn't. It was a withdrawal symptom from a neuropathy med that once he got off that, he was good. But it was a real scare. And it really made me think about perfect moments heading into 2023. And we got insanely intentional, spending a lot more time with my parents and with other loved ones than I had ever had. And we got another call like that, like I said, end of August. And this time he was rushed. He had a seizure They just got back from their first trip with their motorhome after he retired. And he had a seizure 10 minutes after they got off the road. Thankfully, it was after they got off the road. They did a scan. They found 2 tumors in his brain, flew him up to Bend, Oregon. We spent about a week and a half to 2 weeks up in Bend, having him go through tests and more procedures, taking a biopsy, and discovered it was a grade 4 glioblastoma, which is an aggressive and incurable brain cancer. Okay, it's an incurable aggressive brain cancer. As you can imagine, sitting in that moment, I can't imagine what he was going through as the person hearing the diagnosis, but I can tell you what I went through and what my mom went through and what all of us siblings and our spouses went through. And it's hard. And I know many of you guys have gone through similar or worse, but we're all going to go through this if we haven't already. And in that moment, the priorities once again really shrank down and said, man, this is what are the things that are most important. And so we had a chance to have my parents actually live with us for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, getting his treatment done in Roseburg. We probably spent 6 years worth of time with him in 6 weeks. And those are perfect moments. Time slows down. You extend your time. And that, to me, y'all, is why we create businesses. This is us at one of our last family dinners after they moved back down to their house in Klamath Falls, where we are here. This is another perfect moment, y'all. They were back up visiting a few weeks back, and it was an amazing day, blue sky day. And I know my dad loves flying. And he told me a couple months back, he's like, man, I feel the most free when I'm up in the air. So we had an afternoon to kill. I text messaged my buddy on the left, who's our county commissioner, Chris Boyce. He's got a plane. He loves taking people. I go, Chris, man, I'm going to take a leap. I don't know if it's going to be possible, but let me explain the situation about my dad, how he's passionate about flying. Would there ever be a time where you can get him up in the air? And he goes, dude, how about this afternoon? So 2 hours later, we're up in the air, flying around for an hour and a half. We went to the Oregon coast. We landed on a grass runway there by the beach. We stopped. We flew around. We checked everything out. We flew over our house. Amazing, perfect moment. Wound our way back to Roseburg over the Umpqua River. Landed at sunset. Couldn't have been better. And so the reason I bring these up, guys, is to not show you what I did in life. I want you to look at these experiences and reflect on your own. I want you to really look at it and say, what amazing, perfect moments did I have this year? And I want to challenge you to create more this next year, because you don't know when you're going to get that diagnosis. You're going to get the phone call or whatever it is. And as we really look at the trial that we've been going through with my dad and his cancer and his treatment, like I said, there's been so many blessings because we can choose how we react to the circumstances. We can go back to that verse that I mentioned before from James 1 and say, count it all joy, my brothers, when we meet trials of various kinds, because when we do, that creates steadfastness, and that makes us perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. How do we see trials as not just that this was done to me, but maybe there's a glimmer of this was done for me? And let me peel back and discover how. Maybe I don't want it. None of us want this cancer diagnosis. None of us want this trial from my dad and my mom and all of us. None of us want this. None of us ask for this. If we could remove this in an instant, we would. But how can we look at it differently and say, what does this mean? How can this actually help create good in the world? How can this actually be something that we take as a cue to say, man, more perfect moments ahead with my wife, with my kids, with my family, with my friends? I want you to focus on more perfect moments. I want your business to support that in amazing ways. All right, guys. So here are my 3 biggest learning lessons. Stephen, the replay will be up here on this call, man. 3 biggest learning lessons of the year. I'm going to walk you through a couple mindset shifts. And the first one is this. Pain lines are real, guys. Okay, I've got my Epic program that I started this year. It's a high-level coaching program with our highest-level clients. And this program is I think we have 4 spots in it left before we shut it down. We're going to keep this group of people in it, but we have 4 spots left. If you're interested, I'm going to send a link through. Apply to the Epic program. If you're making over 100,000 a year, you want to get back your time, you want to win more freedom, go ahead and go to carrot.com/epic. We've got 4 spots, and then we're going to close it down. But we teach pain lines in detail in the Epic program because we're all at different spots in our business. I'm going to show you what those pain lines are and how to work through them. But the real reason you may not have the business of your dreams today is because you are currently not capable of running it right now. Let me read that again. If you've got this dream for what you want this business to be, this business to give you freedom, to give you this income, to do whatever it is you want it to do, the reason you may not have that business of your dreams today is because you're currently not capable of running that business of your dreams right now. It doesn't mean you're not capable of it in the future. It doesn't mean you can't make some shifts. That's actually exactly what it means. Is you can learn, what do I need to shift? Where do I need to grow? How does my identity need to change? What do I need to delegate? What do I need to learn to be able to step into the person who is capable of running that business of my dreams? All of us go through these cycles. I call them the 3-year turn and burn cycle. And I think, guys, this applies to jobs as well. So if you're on this call and you're a friend or community member of mine and you're not an entrepreneur, don't look at all these things as, oh, that's just Trevor talking to entrepreneurs. Ask yourself, how does this relate to me? And this does relate to people who have jobs as well. Okay. We get all excited over here. We're in this invent phase, or we're moving into a new job that we're excited about, or we're starting a company that we're excited about. That's our motivational source. We're running from something usually, right? We're running away from something that we don't want in our lives. It could be an income ceiling we don't like. It could be a job we don't like. It could be people telling us that we can't achieve something, and we're going to run away from that and prove them wrong. Right. And then we get clear vision. We become what I call a dreamer. And I'm going to show you what the dreamer phase is here in a second. But as soon as we get to the spot where we move from dreamer to performer, and you're starting to perform and produce money and income, 2 to 3 years in, you lose that initial motivation. And then we start to hit this next spot where you can hit this spot about 3 years in, where you get bored and or burnt out. Man, I have some success when it's starting to lose its newness. Right. I don't have that thing in the past anymore that's motivating me. That's gone. I'm beyond that. I need to now have something in the future. So you get distracted. We move into this distraction zone. Guys, this is what I talked about before when we talked about default. Right. You default into the things that got you where you are, rather than designing the new person, the new habits, the new disciplines that you need to become to get you where you want to go. So we get into distraction mode. We have an emergency. We get all motivated again, and we start to get it up. We get in distraction mode because we're burnt out. We're bored again. We have an emergency, and we start to burn out. And you go through this churn and burn cycle every 2 to 3, every 2 to 4 years. Guys, who can relate to this? Who is in this turn and burn cycle right now? Let me know. Pop in that comments box. Okay. So what we need to do instead is, when we hit that spot where that previous motivation that got us where we are is gone, it's not motivating us anymore, we need to now shift and look forward. We need to have a new vision, a new focus, a new thing that excites us. We need to reinvent ourselves, a new motivational source where we're running towards something. And this happens in business at 3s and 10s, 100,000, 300,000, a million, 3 million, 10 million, 30 million. Every single one of those phases, you have an opportunity to burn out. You have an opportunity to just stay the person you are, or you have the opportunity to recognize, where do I need to grow? What do I need to learn? What do I need to delegate? Okay. And the rule of 3s and 10s is, things break in your business and challenges amplify at the 3 and 10 marks in business. Okay. I knew this before 2023. But what happened in 2023 is, as I really dove in with my Epic group, and I really started to talk with dozens and dozens of 6-figure, 7-figure, and small and low 8-figure businesses, I recognized that every single one of them who are having the biggest challenges are right at or near one of these pain line marks. Okay. And it's the same 3 things you got to do. You got to learn, who do I need to become at the next level, and start to adopt a new identity, which I'm going to talk about in part number 3 in this call. Number 2 is we need to be able to delegate the right next things that drain my energy, so you can do more of the things that give you energy and make the business money. And then number 3, we need to be able to hire the right next person. It's always those 3 things. Who do I need to become? What do I need to delegate? And who do I need to hire? Okay. Who do I need to become? What do I need to delegate? Who do I need to hire? Every single one of those pain lines, it's the same. It's just different. At the $100,000, $300,000 mark, you're delegating tasks. Okay. And I'm going to show you who you need to become on that in here in a second. The 300,000 to a million mark, you're delegating projects. $1 million to 3, you're delegating results to managers. Okay. 3 to 10, I'm sorry, you're delegating capacity. 3 to 10, you're delegating results to leaders who can execute the plan. 10 to 30 million, you're delegating strategies. Now, what does this actually look like? Guys, this is the first time I've actually shared this publicly outside of my Epic group. Like, I've never shared this publicly outside of my Epic group, because I've been working with that group of a few dozen people over this past year, honing and refining this based off of what I've learned over the years and what I've learned from them. And so I'm going to kind of skip over some of this, but what I'm going to focus on the most, let me kind of exit the presentation mode so I can zoom in here a little bit more. What I'm going to focus on the most is the pain line and the identity, purpose, and vision portion. I'm not going to go into strategy, marketing, leverage, energy, process, or the delegate part. what do we need to delegate at the different levels? What do we need to do to get our energy back at the different levels? What do we need to do at all those different levels? Okay, I'm just going to focus on, y'all. Let me see if I can actually figure out how to get this back where I want it to go. I'm just going to focus on the pain line, identity, purpose, and vision here. Okay, so if you're just getting started, you're at 0 to 100K. Okay, that's level one. I call that the dreamer. The identity that you're adopting by nature of being in that spot is you are a dreamer, because you would not be thinking about starting a company if you weren't a dreamer. You would not be thinking about moving into a big new promotion in your job if you weren't a dreamer. That's a great thing. The mindset or the pain line that you're going to experience is the mindset. Okay, because you're used to this past here, and that past is feeding into your future. It's feeding into your present, and you're bringing some of those limiting beliefs through. You have these dreams, and you're wrestling with the past, the limiting beliefs in this dream, and you're going, "Oh my gosh, how do I do this?" And you're always kind of wrestling with, "Man, should I just go back and get a job? What are people going to think about me? Oh man, I'm taking a risk. What if I fail?" It's all these things. Mindset is the pain line. We have to get over the mindset and build a rock solid mindset, and I call it flipping your risk profile. There's no plan B, y'all. When you become a dreamer and you want to start the company, no plan B. I'm rock solid mindset, vision forward. And what my purpose is at that point, usually my purpose, y'all, isn't this big, grandiose world changing thing. Usually for most people, it's, man, I just want to get away from my job, right? I want to replace my W-2 income. And my vision is I'm trying to move away from this pain. I don't really have a big vision for this amazing world changing future I've got. I just know I don't like this. And that's my vision. Move away from that pain to something that feels better. All right, guys. Now we move to the next part. Level 2, 100K to 300K. How many people, guys, are in level 1? Let me know if you're in level 1. How many of you guys are in level 2? Let me know if you're in level 2. Okay. So level 2 is 100K to 300K. The big pain line there, y'all, is time management. Okay. You're starting to make some money. You learn how to close some deals or do some jobs or whatever it is, but you don't have enough income to really hire a team yet, right? So you're still doing all the things that are producing the income, creating the processes. You might even still have a job at this point, but now time management is a real pain line. You're going, man, I need to master my personal productivity habits. Okay, you now need to start to shift into an identity of rugged individualist. Not only are you a dreamer, but you're like, man, you know what? I don't have the resources to go hire a bunch of people. I'm going to put my head down and get to work. I don't need all these external sources of people driving me forward. I'm putting my head down. I'm a rugged individualist. I'm going to make this thing work. Okay. I'm going to figure out my productivity habits. I'm going to get these deals down. I'm move forward with this. I'm going to try to go full time. My purpose at that point, oftentimes, is I just want to go full time in my business. I want to make it so I'm not bouncing back and forth between the two. I want more security, go full time in my business. I want to stay away from pain now. That's the vision. Okay. How many guys are in level 2? Pop it in. There's a few level 2s in there. I like it. Now we go into level 3, 300K to $1 million. 300K to $1 million. The big pain line there, guys, is delegation. Okay. You cannot scale past 300K and stay over it if you cannot delegate. Delegation is the spot where you will get stuck at 300K if you cannot delegate what you are doing, the things that drain your energy the most that you're currently doing that drive the business forward. Okay. Delegation is essentially accomplishing tasks through other people. And the very first things you should delegate are not things that aren't being done in the company. They should be things that you are doing in the company that drain your energy the most. Okay. And I don't care if they make the business money. Okay. I don't care if they make the business money. The identity here that you're embodying at this phase is the performer. You go, man, I learned how to make some money. I learned how to get over 300K. Closing deals isn't a problem. I know how to do that now. I'm a really good salesman, or I'm a great marketer. There's something that you have to become amazing at in order to really get to $1 million. You have to become a performer, an expert in something. Okay. It's either negotiation, sales, marketing, something in there. Okay. The purpose at this point is you're going, man, I like this. I'm really getting into getting a business that's kind of growing, but dude, it feels like my income's like this. My purpose is I'm full-time now, but I finally want some consistent income. Okay. I want consistent income because I don't feel like I don't feel like I own the business. It feels like the business is starting to own me a little bit. Okay. But also at that time is when we start to go, man, I'm making some good money. I'm making, about what I thought what some of my goals were. I passed some of my goals. And you now start to realize, once again, the clouds don't part, y'all. The angels don't sing. Okay. Though your life is not going to change the way you think it's going to be when you hit 100,000 a year or 100,000 a month or $1 million a month. I can tell you, I've hit all of those levels. The clouds don't part. The angels don't sing. Okay. What changes is right in here. Okay. So we need to step into being a performer. We want consistent income. And we say, man, there's got to be more to business and life than just making money. Because I made some money and it doesn't feel like I've got, more, a ton more joy and a ton more fulfillment. Okay, so then we move over that. We figure out how to nail delegating the things that drain our energy the most. We are a performer in one or two amazing parts of our business still. The income is consistent. We feel that we want to step into more purpose, whatever that purpose for you is. Now you're level 4. Guys, who's in level 4? Pop in the comments box. If you're in level 3, put that in. If you're in level 4, put that in. Okay, this one here, the big pain line is process. Okay, because now you need to start hiring people. You hired some people down here, but now in order to have confidence that those outcomes are going to happen the way you want them to and the way that they need to hit your business goals, you need to have good processes. And it's really, really hard to go from 1 to 3 in many businesses if you don't have the basic processes down that run the business. Documenting and scaling repeated delivery of the things in your business that drive the business forward. The identity we need to step into at this phase, guys, from the business perspective is builder. Okay, now I need to pull back. I know I'm a performer still, and I'm still going to perform in this one area, but man, I really need to be a builder now. I need to build the people. I need to build the processes and systems. If I truly want freedom from my business, you need to shift from performer to builder. This is the hardest shift, y'all, of all the people in our Epic program, our highest level coaching program. We have a lot of people in the 1 to 3 million mark. The hardest shift for everybody is moving from performer to builder and builder to leader. Okay. Most of you guys move through dreamer, rugged individuals into performer just fine. Those of you who are going to make it in business, you're going to do 1 through 3 just fine. It's usually 3 to 4, 4 to 5. That's the hardest levels to grow through. Okay. Because now you have to actually step out of the things that you've been doing good historically into the things you can do great, the only you can do, and delegate and train with good processes those things that drive the business forward. This is where inconsistency pops up. This is where you feel like you've got to fly into the business every week to fix these things that your team is breaking because you feel like that you have to do it or it doesn't get done right. Right? We've all experienced that. And that's usually an issue with you. It's an issue with you not having good process. It's an issue with you not having what you need to have in your mindset to be able to build the right systems. You're after freedom now at this point, right? You're like, dude, this business is hard. 1 to 3 million. You start to feel trapped in your business. Your profit margins start to get shrunk a little bit. And you're like, dude, my purpose is I want more freedom from this business. I want freedom from the business now. Then your vision is to create a self-managing business. How do I create this business, man, that I'm able to do what it gives me the most energy, but it's got the right people and processes to drive it forward. I can take a month off if I want, and the business is going to grow. Okay. When we flew through 1 to 3 million, that's what I nailed those phases. The biggest challenge I'd had over the course of my entrepreneur career is the 10 million plus. Okay, it's moving from leader at 3 to 10 million, and you want to create impact and drive that self-managing business to really stepping into visionary and delegating strategy and creating clarity and legacy and building that empire. Okay, delegating strategy is hard oftentimes because sometimes you have to delegate the thing that you are the best at in the company. You've historically done this thing and this thing well. You're going to get stuck at 10 million because you're not bringing experts and true leaders in to be able to drive things forward. All right, guys. So what I want you guys to focus in on, pop in that comments box where you guys are. Troy says move from 4 to 5 this year. Amazing, dude. So he moved from 4 to 5, popped over that $3 million mark. For you, man, it's all about leadership. Okay. It's all about leadership. How do I deliver consistent results through others? That's what do I need to delegate now? Who do I need to delegate to? And where do you need to grow? Who do you need to become? Okay. If you go on down this, it's all different things that you do now at those levels. And I walk through those with our Epic members. Don't have time for it now. The reason I bring this up, guys, is as you grow a business, things break. And as things break, you have to now grow. And that's the big lesson I want you guys to have here. The different pain lines, if you're feeling a hard business, it's because you have a pain line you need to address. You need to step into a new identity and you need to learn how to become that person, build the processes, delegate the things to the right spots. Okay. Now, here's what we naturally do, y'all. I learned this from my coach, Dan Martell. Here's what we naturally do when we hit these pain lines. When we're in pain, we tend to do one of these 3 things. We sabotage, right? The things that are creating you the most pain or creating the most business or whatever that thing is you subconsciously avoid those emails. You subconsciously avoid that text message, that Slack message. Okay. Because you know, if you answer it, it's going to be pain for you because you're like, I've already got so much going on. I know if I answer this, it's going to create a new sale, and I'm not confident it's going to get delivered well back here. Or it's going to create a new sale, and it's going to create more business. It's going to break the processes that are already broken. It's going to create more pain. So we avoid reaching out to those people. We avoid capturing those opportunities. We sabotage. And what happens when we sabotage is we start to slip backwards and we settle, right? We start to be okay with settling. We go, man, this part of business is really, really hard. And I was talking with one of our Epic members a couple months back, and he was stuck in that 1 to 3 million mark. And our conversation that we had was, he's like, dude, I don't know. He goes, man, I said, I'll make up a name. John, when were you the most happy in business? Where did you feel like you had the most momentum? He's like, dude, it was when we were making like 300K a year. I go, okay, cool. So you're doing 1.5 million now. You're stuck. You're even moving backwards right now. Who do you need to become to build that business to get over 3? If that's what you want, if you want to get over 3. And why is it that you felt really, really good and comfortable in 300K mark? He felt good and comfortable, guys, in the 300K mark because he could just show up being a rugged individualist. He could show up and perform, and he didn't have to learn how to delegate to people. He didn't have to learn how to train people, how to build systems and processes. So I said, if this is truly where you want to go, dude, it's all going to be through you becoming the builder. You step into becoming, your art now is building the company, not just doing the deal. Okay. And then we started to make a plan for him to do that, guys. So we settle just like he was doing. He was settling and saying, I'm going to go back to 300K, even though I did 1.5 million last year, and he was having a hard time. He said, maybe it's not worth it. Okay. And then what we oftentimes do is we sell. We say, man, this business is hard. I'm not having joy anymore. Let me sell it while I've still got some value here. Right. And guys, let me know in the comments box if any of you guys can relate to this. Have you been settling? Have you been sabotaging? Or have you been thinking about selling that company? If you have, number one, y'all, it's normal. It's natural. If you're having those thoughts, amazing. Congratulations, because you have grown as a person and you've shown that you can grow as a person. You've shown that you can grow a business. Now you just need to learn how to grow into the next new version of yourself that can deal with a bigger business, that can deal with bigger problems, that can really make a greater impact versus just what you can deliver as a performer. Congratulations, guys. It's hard though. The way you do this, guys, I'm going to give you this resource, this tool. This is linked up right here, the Energy Audit resource. I'm going to give you this tool, y'all. And what I want you to do, if you're in that spot where you feel burnout, you feel wore out a little bit, you're wondering, how do I grow through this next pain line? Download the Energy Audit, print it off, and take 15 minutes to go through it. Okay, just follow the instructions on this piece of paper. You're basically going to write down the things that give you energy in life and business, even if you're not doing them, especially if you're not doing them in your life right now. Okay, maybe you get energy from working out, but man, you haven't had the time to. Write that down. On the drains energy side, write down all the things that drain your energy in an average week. Okay, this is looking back over the last 2-3 weeks. Say, man, what are the types of things that I'm doing in my life, not just business, that are draining my energy? Man, too many meetings. I don't like this. I don't like that I have to put this slide deck together or do this thing. Or man, I don't like these phone calls. Or whatever it is, write all those down. Business and life. Then I want you to put a percentage. What percentage of your average week is in the energy drain category and all those things, and what percentage of your average week is in the energy gives category? Okay. And that's your baseline now. When I first did this, y'all, when I created this energy audit in 2012, I was at 70% energy drains and 30% energy give. No wonder I was not liking my business. No wonder I was burnt out. No wonder I was sabotaging. No wonder I wanted to sell my shares in the company. And I ultimately did sell my shares in that company, which now that company does $30 million a year. Okay. And I was a co-founder of that company. I don't regret it for a second though, because it helped me to clear the plate and focus on a bigger vision. Do the energy audit and then circle 1 or 2 of those things that drain your energy the most and say, these are the first 1 or 2 things I'm going to create a process on. I'm going to find a person to delegate to, and I'm going to ensure that they're successful in those things. And then circle 1 thing in the energy give side and say, awesome. Now I've got 7 hours over here of time I just bought back. Where am I going to put that 7 hours to give my energy back? Even if that stuff does not give you money. Okay. This call right here, guys, is not a moneymaker for us. This call gives me energy. That's why I have these things on the list. All right, guys. So grow through your pain line. First, recognize you can grow through this. You've already grown through pain lines. You can grow through the next one if that's a part of your vision. Where do you need to grow before your business will? Your business is going to be capped at your growth. Y'all recognize that. Oftentimes we look at the people around us and make an assumption that, man, if only I change the people. You got to change yourself before you can attract the right people who are going to transform your business. And that's what I've gone through myself in the last 2 years in a big way. What do you need to delegate next? And then who is your right next hire? These are all things, guys, that we in the Epic program, we've got our high confidence hiring process. We've got the right next hire process. We've got the identity shift process, all these. So if you're in the Epic program, amazing. Go use the resources. If you're not, we've got 4 spots, guys, I'm going to fill. It's group coaching with me. Go check it out, carrot.com/epic. 4 spots, and we're closing the program down and keeping it there. All right, guys, lesson number 2, 10x is easier than 2x. This one for me, it's so funny how you relearn lessons. And before I dive into this and read this quote, I'm going to read some of the comments. Right here, Ryan, I got comfortable way too soon. Going through 5 in 2024. I love it, Chris. Moved from 4 to 5. That's the $1 to $3 million, or the $1 to $3 million plus mark. Definitely self-sabotaging myself, Tamika says. Josh says, I can relate. Thinking of selling our short-term rental portfolio in spring of 2024. And Josh, here's the thing, man. Selling is not a bad thing at all. What is something I want everyone to be aware of is that if we're selling because of the pain, recognize that. Recognize that we're selling because of the pain, and recognize and ask yourself the question, if I just grow through this pain, will I enjoy this business more? And what version of this business would I love and never want to sell? And how can I create that business? Now, if you're selling the business because the market opportunity and you're just ready to move on from that company and you've got a new, greater vision and that business isn't a part of that vision, amazing. Go sell the company, right? So selling a company is an amazingly viable exit plan. Just recognize why we're selling. And if it's pain related, ask those questions. What could I do to make this business a business I'd never want to sell? Okay. And what would make this business more fun to run again? All right, there we go. Ryan says, sell it to me. Ryan's buying. I love it. So I love this quote from Dan Sullivan. He says, the only way to make your present time better is by making your future bigger. Going 10x means you're living based on the most intrinsic and most exciting future you can imagine. That 10x future becomes your filter for everything you do. And most of your current life can't make it through that 10x filter. The only way to make your present life better is by making your future bigger. Guys, this here for me is such a big topic. Before we dive into expanding our mind now and how I've gone through my relearning of this year, I want you to first be grateful for what you already have. And this is a sticky note that I've got on my desk. Remember when you wanted what you currently have. Before you think of those big goals, guys, before you think of that 10x vision, I want you to first of all go back and remember when that 10x vision was who you are today. That 10x vision was what you currently have, the business you already have. And imagine, like, picture yourself when you set those goals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years ago, the goals that you have already achieved. Picture talking to that person, talk to that younger man, younger woman, that younger version of yourself, talk to them, look them in the eyes. Look at the joy and hope they had. Look at the fear that they had. Look at the nervousness that they had. Look at the pain that they had. And just really remember, put yourself into that spot and talk to that younger version of yourself and tell them, what are you going to tell them? What are you going to tell them knowing what you know today? What are you going to tell them? You can tell them it's okay. You can tell them keep putting your head down and it's going to be worth it. You can tell them to shift a couple ways that they're thinking about things so you're working on clean fuel, not dirty fuel. Remember when you wanted what you currently have, guys. Sit in that gratitude. But now let's expand it out. Okay. This year I read the book 10X is Easier Than 2X by Dan Sullivan and Benjamin Hardy. Amazing book. You guys should read it. I'm going to read this text message I got earlier in the week from one of our Epic members, Marco Padilla. Marco took my advice, read the book after we had a coaching session together. And he said, my man, hope you had a great Christmas. This year was very intentional in making Christmas magical moment. Love it. He said it worked. 2024, here we come. But he said, I'm currently reading 10X is Easier Than 2X. Blows my mind. And this is a guy who runs a multi-million-dollar company in the real estate business, guys. I had to scratch my 2024 vision. I was thinking 2X. This is not Grant Cardone 10X, guys. Okay. So if any of you guys are hearing this and I'm like, you're going like this, that's not what this 10X is. This is not Grant Cardone 10X. 10X is not a bad thing. But what 10X is 10X is big enough thinking to break your limiting beliefs. And what does that mean? So if we're in 2X thinking, 2X thinking is past based thinking. Okay. We take our present person, we're sitting right here on what is today's date? December 27th, 2023. And we're looking forward to the future. When we're in 2X thinking and we're making our goals to go, hey man, I want to go from 1 million to 2 million, or I want to go from 100,000 to 200,000, or I want to, rather than let's go to a fitness one. Okay. Let's say you're trying to get better on your marathon run time, and you ran a 4-hour marathon, and you go, I'm just going to do a little improvement. I'm going to do a 3-hour 55-minute marathon. Okay. With 2X thinking, guys, your past actually influences your plan. It's uninspiring. It doesn't move the needle. What does that mean? Your past experience is what you've already been doing to get you where you are. You're just going to do more of the same thing. So to go from a 4-hour marathon to 3-hour 55-minute marathon, you don't really have to change anything, or you don't fundamentally have to look at running differently. You don't have to change anything. You just maybe have to train a couple more times and just get that mindset right in that goal. You'll hit the 355, right? But what if instead you said, I want to go from a 4-hour marathon to a 3-hour and 20-minute marathon? Number one, is it possible? Yes, it's possible. Number two, man, I've got to change something. My past now no longer is as relevant, because what worked to get me to a 4-hour marathon will not work to get me to 3-hour and 20-minute marathon. What worked to get me to 1 million, okay, you can just do more of the thing that got you to 1 million to get you to 2, maybe even get you 3. But what worked to get to 1 will not work to get to 10. What worked to get to 100,000 will not work to get to 1 million. But man, what got you to 100,000 will get you to 100,000, or will get you to 200,000 or 300,000. And this is where we talk about default versus design. Okay. Now, instead, what we want to do is we want to move to 10X thinking. That's future-based thinking. It's vision-driven. The future pulls us forward. When you're sitting here in this plan, we want to use the past only as reference, not as the plan. We want to use past as, say, what worked, what didn't, what am I going to cast aside, what am I going to get rid of? I'm going to step into a completely new future. The 20% that is the stuff that I'm doing now that's possible to get me to 10 million, if that's your number, that needs to become my new 80%. The future creates the plan. And you need to say, okay, man, if I'm at 1 million right now, or I'm at 3 million right now, these are the things that got me there. But dude, I don't think they're going to get me to 30 million. Or I don't think they're the thing they're going to get me to 10. Ask yourself, what has to be possible to get to 10? What do you have to do with your lead generation? What do you have to do with your negotiation skills? What do you have to do with your markets or your marketing or your team? Write all those things down, sit in that vision, and realize that vision can be real. And one of the big things I loved that Dan Sullivan put in this book, and this is an amazing way to look at it. I've been really sitting in this year big time, expanding our vision at Carrot and my vision for the empire outside of Carrot. Been really pushing our Epic members in this as well. Is we've been saying, okay, the 2X mindset, once again, 80% of what you do is just your default. It's the stuff that got you where you are. But you're doing these things like 20% of this new stuff that, man, it might even be creating a bigger profit per deal, or it might be something that you see as the future or that you enjoy more. But because you're 80% of your business, all your processes, your people, your systems are built for the 80%, built for your existing company, they can't scale anymore. And you're going, I don't have time to do all this new stuff. We have to literally cut ties with a lot of that stuff that got us where we are. We have to move to completely different ways to think about business. We might have to grow our people or attract people to our company who can grow to that next level, because not every team member that you have is going to be capable to grow. The person that got you to 1 million might not be capable of growing in their role to get you to 10. So you might have to work with them to coach them. But if they can't make it, you bring someone in who's ready for that challenge. Your previous 20% that is focused on the future and new needs to become your new 80%. Okay, then you need to shrink down the existing that got you here. That needs to be shrinking down to the 20%. I'll give you an example of this. Let's say that you're a wholesaler and your average profit per deal is $10,000, but man, you hit some wholesale deals that were 25, 30 grand. But you're like, dude, that was only 10, 15% of my deals. The majority of my income comes from these $10,000 singles. And your whole business is set up for those $10,000 singles. Your marketing, your team, your people, everything's set up for those, your systems. It's all set up for those $10,000 deals. And as you're planning the year ahead, you've got these big goals and you're just going, oh my gosh, this is going to be hard. So I just need to add more of these deals, right? Which you could do that. But what I'd encourage you to do maybe is say, well, why don't you take that 10 to 20% of those biggest deals that you did and say, what if they became my new 80? What if now 80% of my deal volume was $20,000 to $30,000 profit per deal? How do I find these deals? What marketing do I need to change? What processes do I need to change? Who do I need to bring on my team to make that possible? And make it so the $10,000 deals are less than 20% of my business now. And then always trading up as you go. Guys, this is how you crack through those levels. This is how you crack through those levels in a big way. Okay. So I want you to replace your existing 80%, what got you there, with the new vision of the big stuff in the future. With Carrot, it might be a new product, right? With a financial planner. In the book, they use a really, really good example as a financial planner, that the financial planner might start their business saying, I'm going to bring in anyone that at least has $100,000 for me to manage. And they build their whole business around that avatar, that marketing list, that group of people. But then they get a person or two who has a net worth of $1 million that they're bringing in to manage. And they go, man, it's way easier to land one person with $1 million than 10 people with 100,000. How did I find that person with $1 million? And what if I built my whole business around finding those people? And that it does mean you have to say no to many of those past clients. They have to hand those clients off or sell that book of business to somebody else. Or maybe those past clients that are the $100,000 clients don't get as much time with you. They work with an assistant of yours now. And now you focus on the $1 million+ clients. That's what I'm talking about on how you shift towards that 10x, guys. This makes sense, y'all? This makes sense? Pop in the comments box if this makes sense. I want to dive into another element of this, and I'm going to dive into lesson number 3 right after this, and we're going to open up the personal annual planning process here. But before I dive into this, was probably the biggest mental shift I had this year, this back part of the year, and I'm going to show you why. And it's something I've never seen anyone talk about it the way I'm about to talk about it, and hopefully it hits you well. But before I do that, guys, I just want to remind you, pop back here, get these resources. We do have a special package we're bringing back for the end of the year here. Okay, it's going to be available between now and I think it's the end of the year, December 31st, midnight, December 31st. If you are brand new to Carrot or you're wanting to become a Carrot member, now's an amazing time to join. You're going to be able to get a big package, 4 months of our highest performing tools. It's usually about $200 a month for that tool set or so. So that's $800 of payments. We're waiving 4 months worth of payments. And we're going to give you our most powerful tool set that's only about $200 a month. We're going to give you our 30-day challenge. We're going to give you our 3 lead per day training. We're going to give you my Google AdWords campaign. Whenever I go into a market or we go into a market with the client, we literally start with this campaign with these ads, these ad groups, these keywords, everything in there. And all you have to do is swap out a couple things in your end. We give you a short little video. That alone is $1,000 bonus. We're going to give you weekly group coaching calls. You're going to be able to get this entire package all for $997 today. No payments for 4 months. And then you're going to be able to pick up at it's around $200 a month, I think, after that. You can always downgrade, upgrade after that. But this is going to save you several $1,000s. It's valued at $4,000. It's going to be about $997. It's going to save about $3,000 to $4,000 in value. Grab that before December 31st. Get that last minute tax write-off in. If you're already a Carrot member, amazing. You can still do the same thing. Grab it, $997 today. We'll pause your billing for 4 months. We'll move you into the tools that are included in that package. We'll give you the bonuses. We'll give you my ads campaign. And we'll pause your billing for 4 months, resume it in 4 months. So go check it out, guys. That's the extent of my pitch. I'll tell you about it again at the end. And then if anyone is interested in applying for Epic, we have 4 spots left. It's this kind of stuff that I'm teaching now, weekly drilled down into hour sessions with a quarterly one-on-one call with me. And we do some in-person events too. Go check it out, guys. But this is my biggest mental mindset shift on the back part of the year. Need-based motivation versus want-based motivation. When we talk about that 3-year turn and burn cycle, when we talk about that vision that pushes you forward, that pain that you're trying to move away from, and then about 2 to 3 years in, 2 to 4 years into that business, you start to get burnout, you start to get bored. I realized this year it's intricately tied to needs versus wants. Okay. I found myself, and I'll get vulnerable here as an 8-figure entrepreneur. I found myself hitting a spot this year where I was wondering, why am I having a hard time having this bigger vision? And I realized, I'm like, man, I'd already reached the majority of the financial goals that I had set, right? I don't need a jet. I don't need 7 houses. I don't want a Lamborghini. I don't care for those types of cars, but I do have a lot of wants. And I have a lot of wants that could benefit a lot from a growing business. But I'd felt this weird guilt pop up that if I have all my needs taken care of and even beyond my needs taken care of, who am I to want more? Right. Especially as a Christian man, where you're going, man, like, are we guided to want more than we need? And started diving into scripture, started talking with people that I know, like, and trust. And I really recognize and realize, y'all, that there's a massive difference between types of motivation. And when we're basing our business growth on need-based motivation, it's very easy to fall into that trough of man, I feel like I'm not motivated, I'm not inspired, I feel like I'm getting a little bit burnout, I don't want to drive this business forward anymore. Need-based motivation only goes so far. And so I'm bringing up the Maslow's hierarchy of needs here, and you can see that all of these are needs, right? So they're needs, physiological needs: food, water, shelter, rest, things like that, right? Once we have those things taken care of, then we move to the next one. But if we don't have clean food or clean water, healthy food, or enough food, if we're not warm and out of the elements, if we don't have some sort of shelter and we're not able to have basic rest, we will not be able to focus on anything else up above. We will never be able to focus on a business, on anything else. We're just focused on surviving, right? Those are part of the basic needs. So you're insanely motivated in that spot if you do not have those things that are the basic needs. You are motivated, and that's where your motivation starts, and that's where it stops. But as soon as you start to get those taken care of, now you start to step into safety needs, right? What this might look like this: if you're in a spot where maybe you got a house and you've got food, water, shelter taken care of, you got the four walls around you, but maybe this neighborhood's a really, really unsafe neighborhood. There's drug deals going on next door. There's all these things happening. There's a shooting down the road, and you're starting to have a family. Now you're motivated by safety. You're motivated by security. You're motivated now to grow that darn business to get your family out of that situation. Okay. Or if you're homeless and you've got food, you've got water, there's the shelter, but man, you don't feel safe. You don't feel like you can safely sleep here or be here. Safety is the first thing you're focusing on now. But let's say you're beyond safety. My assumption, I could be wrong here, but my assumption is most people, if not all, are probably have the basic needs taken care of on this call, right? So let's now go up to the psychological needs: belongingness and love, intimate relationships. Once we get the basics taken care of, then we want to be able to grow. What a lot of us do, though, is we move directly from the safety needs into, man, I'm going to now grow a business because I never want to be in that situation again, right? I never want to be in that situation again. I don't want to have a job that's going to maybe lay me off. I'm going to be in control. I'm going to drive it forward. And some of us skip right over belongingness. And then we catch back up on that after we build a business that's $1, 2, 3, 4, $5 million. We go, man, I got my needs taken care of. I even got a lot of my wants taken care of. I feel empty, though. I don't feel like I'm a part of a group of people. I don't feel like I've got community. I feel like I built my business and it ruined my intimate relationships, or I don't even have friends anymore or hobbies because I focus so much on the business. Right? You're focused on ensuring you never have to go through having those needs again, the basic needs, that you blew through those. And now you're really, really longing for esteem and belongingness. And we think that we're going to get that through hitting another revenue milestone. We think that we're going to hit that, man. Once I hit 1 million, dude, I bet I'm going to feel better about myself. Man, once I hit 10 million, I bet I'm going to feel better about myself. I can tell you that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen unless you focus on that now while you can. You focus on that now at every stage of this. Okay. But what I want to illustrate here is eventually you're going to run out of motivation on the need chart, and you need to step into what I call want-based motivation. It's okay to want what you don't have. It's okay to have experiences and things in your life. Now, what I'm not talking about wanting a bunch of material things. If you want a Lambo because you absolutely love the craft of the Lambo, get the darn Lambo. Celebrate that. Love it. But if you want the Lambo because you think it's going to make you feel cool, or you think it's going to help you belong, then you're buying that Lambo with dirty fuel. And I can guarantee you're going to grow to resent that Lambo. You're going to say, well, maybe it wasn't the Lambo. Maybe it's now a jet, or maybe it's the bigger house, or maybe you're always going to have because we're hoping that buying the thing will bring us into a new friend group that creates belongingness and that finally lets me realize, man, I'm worth something. Can anyone relate? Is this hitting anybody at all? Is this hitting anybody at all, y'all? Okay. Yeah, 100%. So Steven said, I just recently joined Carrot. Can this roll into, yeah. So you can you can go through and grab that offer for the 997 for the end of the year, get your tax write-off. So if you're in that 30% tax bracket, you actually essentially are paying 30% less because you would be paying that 30% to the government. But you can make this investment. We'll pause your billing for 4 months, give you all those features, give you the bonuses. Yep. So what we need to do is we need to write down, like, what do we really want? And I'm gonna help you do that right now. I want you to grab a piece of paper. Okay, grab that piece of paper. Come back to this on the replay. But I want you to ask this question of yourself. If you knew you couldn't fail, what do you want? I underline want and bold it for a reason. What do you want more than anything else in this world? What do you want more than anything else in your life? What do you want your life to be like? What do you want to experience? What do you want that business to be like if you knew you couldn't fail? What do you want your family to be like? What do you want your relationships to be like? What do you actually want? Not just what do you need? Not just, man, I don't really need that though. I'm totally fine with 100,000 a year, 300,000 a year. What if you could make an amazing, massive impact in this world, but you're limiting that by going after 100 or 300K because you're saying, I'm just going to take care of my needs. For me, guys, where it gets exciting is where my vision is so damn big that not only are my families and my team and everyone's around me needs taken care of, are the wants are taken care of too. Once again, I'm not talking about all of the material stuff. Okay. I'm talking about a want as I want to be, I want to be in deep relationship with the Lord. I want to have deep, fruitful relationships with my friends. I want to have the most amazing marriage possible. I want it to look like this. I do want to have a house like this. So when we come home, it gives us peace and it really sets us up to where we can have an amazing day. And we jumpstart the day by waking up in a place that we love and inspires us. I do want that 63 split window Corvette because I like it. I love the craftsmanship of it. And it ties into a passion my dad and I share together. And every time I look at that car, I'm gonna think about my pops. I'm gonna think about the amazing experiences that we have together. And I want that car. I want that in my garage for that reason. Okay. What do you want more than anything else if you knew you couldn't fail? I want you to give yourself permission to write all those things down in a vision. I'm going to read to you guys part of my vision story on this. And then we're going to move to part 3. And then we're just going to kind of go through the PDF and we're going to talk about a few things. And we're probably going to be just over 2 hours on this call. Guys, on some of these calls in the past, I've gone 3 hours and 45 minutes. So this could be an epic, less time intensive session for all of you guys. I love it. So amazing, guys. Appreciate you guys. Glad you guys are getting value from it. So when you start to think about what you truly want more than anything else in the world, and put it in all those categories: your friends, your family, your faith, your fitness, your finances, your fun or hobbies. What do you truly want in all of those areas? Give yourself permission to just write down the what and the why, leave the how up to God. Write down the what and the why, leave the how up to God. Where a lot of us get stuck, guys, is we think of the how. We're going, oh my gosh, I can't put that down because I don't know how the heck I would do that. I don't know how the heck I'm going to go from $100,000 a year business to $100 million empire. I don't know how that's going to happen, right? I remember back in 2000, it's probably 2010. I created a mastermind. I created a group of people, which this is going to be the next part as we talk about identity. Identity goes hand in hand with what we're talking about here. I created a group of people that were people I loved, that were in kind of a similar spot in life in me, but they're all motivated. They had big visions. And I created a mastermind that was a once a month teleseminar phone call where we hopped on a conference line called the $100 million Mastermind. Now, I created this mastermind when I was barely making $100,000 a year. Okay. So at that time in my life, I'm like, yeah, we can't grow big unless we think big, right? Which is true, 100% true. The challenge is identity wise, I was so stuck on picturing, I don't know how I'm actually going to get there, that we ended up giving up on that mastermind after a few months because we were talking all these big ideas, all these big ideas, all these big ideas. And we were pressuring ourselves to come up with the how. And we started to bring our ideas back, bring our vision backwards to what felt more achievable, to what seemed like we had more clarity on the how. And I can tell you, if I would have not done that and just left the how to the side, I would have achieved those things way sooner. Okay, way sooner. Yes, did end up reaching $100 million net worth, have not hit the $100 million a year income thing yet, but that's where my vision is now. Now, why is it? Why is it that I want to build an empire of $100 million a year collectively between the companies. It's not because I need the money, right? I don't need the money. I don't have more needs. I've got every basic need taken care of. I can go after most of the things I want right now with my current income and wealth. It's because I want my vision to be so big that my vision holds everyone else's visions around me, my family, my team, my friends, my community even. I want everyone's visions to fit inside of my vision because I want now to help take care of other people's needs. I want to be a catalyst to help other people step into their wants. I want to help other people. I want to help be a catalyst to help other people step into their biggest impact. And if I have a bigger empire, more opportunity, more capital to deploy into starting companies and investing into companies, into developing more of our downtown Roseburg to inspire more people, the impact that I can create, that we can create together, it creates a ripple effect that is going to live on for generations, and it's going to impact so many people. You become that shining light. You become that lighthouse for people. When we're just going after our limited 2x goals, we're not a lighthouse, guys. We're not a lighthouse for others. We're just barely trying to survive and sticking with what our basic needs are. I want you to step into being a lighthouse for others and make your vision so big that you're pumped about that vision. Remove the how from it for now. Okay, let God deliver the how. But then really, really step into that and say, how can this vision fit, hold everyone else's vision around me? All right, guys. Let me grab my notebook here. Third one here. And on that last topic, y'all, 10x versus 2x, like I said, for me, I've seen that concept work in my life. Back in 2016, when we were doing about $1 million a year with Carrot, I wrote a 10x vision. It literally was a vision story, 16 pages long, that our Epic members actually have that copy of. They have my 26 version, non-redacted version of that 2016 vision of exactly what the vision was from 1 to 10, how we were going to get there. And we did. We literally hit the 10 million the exact month that I said I would in 2016. Wrote a goal 2016, hit the goal in 2020, the exact month, the last month of that vision, we hit it. And so many of those darn things became true because I created that 10x vision. I made the vision bigger for those around me and myself. And we said, we don't know how to do it yet. Let's just step in with faith and let's figure out, where do I need to grow? Who do I need to become? What identity do I need to step into? And who do I need to surround myself to that can make that possible? And we nailed it. So we're going to wrap up, guys, with identity now. And this is probably the most important part of all of this. This is probably the most important part of all of this, guys. Okay, is identity. And I don't think I know that I've probably discounted identity a lot in my life up to this point. I've recognized the impact that the upgrading my identity has had over the years. I underestimated the need and the impact that identity truly had during all those times. I underestimated the need to truly step into a new identity if you truly want to transform. When we talk about, y'all, transformation, right? When we talk about transformation, it's not just I did better, right? It's we literally stepped into a new identity, a new vision, something on a completely different plane than where you're operating at right now. When we transform our business, it's not that we just got better and we hit some better goals. We literally transformed. We stepped into a completely new plane of success. We stepped into a completely new way of operating business. We completely transformed and moved to that 10x mindset. So when we're talking about transformation, it is all about identity. It's all about vision, not about habits. This is one of my favorite books of the year. This is my book I'm actually finishing right now, The Power to Change. Guys, who on this call has, awesome, man, thanks, dude. Who on this call has read Atomic Habits? Pop in the comments box if you guys have read Atomic Habits. Amazing book, Atomic Habits. All right, so pop in the box if you have. If you've read that, great. I've read it too. Love the book. Now, the question for me then is the question that I've got up on the screen. I want you guys to answer this for yourself too. We all focus on adopting new habits and we hope that they'll stick, right? But why do those habits oftentimes not stick? Why is it that you have the same habit that you've wanted to nail year after year after year after year after year, and it doesn't stick? Why is it that you're like, dude, if I could only do X, if I could only become X, if I could only wake up earlier, if I could only, start working out every day, if I could only eat more healthy, if I could only stop cursing, if I could only do this, if I could only stop these things or start these things, man, my life would be better. It's not a matter of do you want them? And guys, I don't even think it's a matter of do you want them bad enough. That's something that I've heard people say, man, you just don't want it bad enough, right? You just don't want that bad enough. You don't want it bad enough to wake up at 4 a.m. You don't want it bad enough to be able to go out there and train every day. You don't want it bad enough, da da da. That's true. But just like the book Atomic Habits, I think those quotes stop at a very, very key important spot. They stop at wanting something bad enough and giving you the tools to create habits. Where they need to step into is who before do. Okay, your habits don't stick because we focus on the do part of it. What do I need to do? What habits do I need to put in place? What triggers do I need to do? Versus who do I need to become? Who do I want to be? Who is it that would actually live those habits on the daily without even having to think about it? Okay, and I'm going to walk you through some of those shifts that I've had. Now, let me bounce out actually to my iPad, and I'm going to stop this screen share, do a little bit of draw time here. Bounce out to the iPad. I'm going to go over here and pull up this identity shifter. This is a training we did. This was a training we did this last week. And right there. This is a training that we did this last week for Epic members as we're getting ready to really shift into that next identity. Okay. And so I'm going to skip over these parts and go straight to the model for you. All right. And when we look at identity, I'm going to erase some of this here and then redraw it with you guys. Okay. When we really look at identity, identity is such a massive part of success. Identity is such a massive, massive part of where you're going to be growing, who you're going to become. Okay, let me get over here, get the right thickness going on here. Come on. There we go. Cool. So this is how our identity is created. Before we can change our identity, y'all, we have to know how your current identity was even made in the first place. Okay, because you have an identity. We all have an identity. You might not like the way you show up in certain spots. You may love the way you show up in certain spots, but you have an identity. You have an identity that other people have of you, and you have an identity of what you have of yourself. And what I'm arguing here is that the identity that's most important is what you think of yourself. Okay, what you think of yourself is who you become, and who you become is the habits that you do. It's not the habits that we do create the who we become and what we think of ourselves. Okay, it's what we think of ourselves creates the who, and the who creates the do. And then when we do those things, when we do those habits effectively and consistently, that reinforces what we think of ourselves. It gives us confidence, which reinforces the who, which then has this amazing cycle. Okay. So what we're trying to create is outcomes, right? We want outcomes in life. We want to be able to move towards business goals. We want to run that marathon time. We want to find the spouse. We want to get in shape. We want to do whatever it is. What are these outcomes? It could be financial. It could be fitness. It could be faith. It could be friendship, fun, whatever it is. This right here is what we're going after. But what we have to do, we have to start way back here. Okay, identity. Who the heck are we? What I like to do is I like to audit the identity first. Okay. And I like to create a clear vision of who I want to become. This right here is the audit portion. I need to see, like, who the heck am I being right now so I can even make a change? And then what's my vision moving forward for who I want to become? This is now. Okay. This is the now part, and this is future. Okay. So you can see I'm not doing 2x thinking here. I'm saying, who am I being now? I'm going to recognize what I like, what I don't like, what I want to amplify, what I want to get rid of. And then I'm going to cast a vision forward and say, now, who do I want to become? I'm not reaching back into the past and saying, well, but you failed on these things in the past, and that's probably going to happen again. Or, well, these people say this about you. That might be true. I'm not going to reach back in the past for those. I'm going to keep them in the past where they are. That's where they're good, is in the past. They're not good for the future. And I'm going to reach for the future and say, it does not matter at all. I'm not defined by the person I have been. I'm not defined by the things I've done in the past. I'm defined by the person I want to become, the person in my future. And I'm defined by the things I'm going to do in the future. Okay. That's where we get our definition. Then we step into our do, which is our actions. Okay. So we have an identity. We're clear in who we want to become. We're clear in the traits. We're clear in the disciplines. We're clear in the things we want to do. We have people that we aspire to be more like in certain areas of life. Now we go and say, every time we have an opportunity to do those things, every time we have the opportunity to go and wake up early, every time we have the opportunity to hit the snooze button, every time we have the opportunity to go outside and work out, every time we have the opportunity to go read the book versus scroll through Instagram, every time we have the opportunity to do XYZ, insert something that's important to you, we now have to say, what would the person I want to become do in this situation? Would they hit snooze or would they get up? Would they put the shoes on even when I don't want to and go for that run? Or would they say, oh, I'll do it tomorrow? Would they step into getting that damn project done or get distracted on Instagram? And guys, I'm going to tell you, I have gone through all of these, and when I still battle with these things. They're at just at different levels. And anytime that I've had struggles in adopting those things, it's when I'm like, dude, I'm not clear on my who. I'm not clear on who the heck I want to become, and that bigger vision of myself. I'm in default mode, and I'm just going to keep on doing what I've been doing. I'm not into transformation mode. Anytime you want to get into that transformation, like we talked about, guys, you want to go up like this instead of like this or down like this, is you have to design things. And you start by designing with vision. Who do I want to become? What do I want this business to be? Designing is vision. Designing is creating a plan. Designing is stepping into that who. Once we're doing those actions, when we do those actions enough, those actions become our habits. Okay. Those habits now create momentum. When we do those things enough, we're doing these actions, guys, and you're not really getting the fruit from it at the start, right? You're going and working out, but you look in the mirror and you're going, man, a week later, I don't feel any different. I don't look any different, right? But you start to get momentum as that becomes a habit. That momentum and those habits now turn into your disciplines, okay? I would argue that a habit and discipline aren't the same thing, and people conflate a habit and discipline too much. A habit is something you're doing consistently and it creates momentum. Discipline is like literally it's your new default. Discipline is your new default. It is, I wake up, I sweat every day, I don't hit the snooze button. It's non-negotiables. Your disciplines have non-negotiables attached to them. Okay, I do not do these things. So if you look at certain parts of your life that you feel you're doing amazing in, let's say it's your faith, right? You have non-negotiables that are baked into your faith, where you will not go out and murder somebody. You will not commit adultery. You will not do these things because they're non-negotiables. Here's my identity. I'm a man of Christ. I do these things to fulfill that. I have these habits that support that. I have these disciplines. I've got good outcomes because of that, and that feeds back into my identity. All right, so now let's look at some financial ones. Okay, maybe you have some disciplines because you have an identity that got you here. You have these disciplines that are non-negotiables. I text message 5 people a day. I make 10 phone calls a day. I do these things. Those disciplines are your default now. We're gonna create some non-negotiables here. Okay. And when we have those disciplines, we create the outcomes, and those outcomes create the confidence. Okay. Those outcomes create the confidence that reinforce our identity. So what I'm going to show you guys here is this is a resource for our Epic members. I can't give you this worksheet, but we have a version of some of this in the worksheet that's attached on the personal planning deal. Okay, but I can walk you through what I do and what I've seen work the best. Who the heck am I being right now that I want to change, that I'm proud of? Okay, ask people these questions. How do you see me showing up? Where do you see me showing up good? Where do you see me showing up bad? Give me 5 words that are the first words that describe me. Ask 3 people you're close with to give you feedback. Now you've got your own impression and others' impression that you trust. Now I'm going to write down, what am I going to get rid of out of my life? What habits or disciplines am I going to get rid of? What am I going to amplify? And then we're going to wrap it up with going, awesome. Who now am I inspired by that has some of these traits and habits? I'm going to write their name down here. I'm literally going to write the traits that those people have that I like, that I want to embody into myself. And I want to write why. Why is this important? Why is this important? Why is this important? The more why you can soak in there, guys, the better. Okay. Without a why, your habits will die. Without a clear why, your habits will die. And then I'm going to write down, here's the top 3 traits I'm going to step into this next year. And then how I'll know when I'm embodying these. These are now, this is identity. The trait is the identity. These are the habits. How I know when I'm going to embody this. Okay. And then those lead to non-negotiables. What I do then is after I have those, I have the identity down, the traits I'm going to step into, what habits I know, how I'll know when I'm living those. Then I'm going to write down, here's my non-negotiables. I have 5 every single day, daily non-negotiables. Okay. Read 10 pages a day, sweat every day, text message or DM 5 people a day, whatever those things are, write down your 5. and then put in here so that I can blah. Why are those there? Read 10 pages a day so that I can continually learn and grow. Okay. Let's say sweat every day so that I can have energy and vitality for everything life throws at me. Okay. And then I'm going to write down my key 3. Who are the 3 people I want to start to surround myself with this in the year ahead? Who are those 3 people I'm going to start to surround myself with in the year ahead that are going to bring me into more of this identity, that can hold me accountable to these habits? You write those 3 down. Even if you don't know those 3 people, get to know them. Join the mastermind that they run. Join the coaching program that they run. Go email them or text them and say, hey, would you want to do a monthly accountability call with me? Whatever it is, guys, do what you need to do to get around those people. All right, guys. So I give you a quick buzz through that. That wasn't originally going to be a part of the presentation, but I wanted to kind of finish that part of that for you guys, because I know for me it's been massively impactful, and it's changed my life. And so hopefully go back and get the replay of it if you want to go through that again. But guys, identity creates your actions become your habits are your disciplines. Those create outcomes. Those outcomes reinforce the confidence, either lack of confidence because you're not following through on things, or increased confidence because you are. Okay, we need to audit our current identity, cast a vision for who we want to become, and then integrate that into our life with the daily non-negotiables and those 3 people. That makes sense, y'all? That little thing right there can completely change your day, your life, your week, your year, your decade. When you accept the fact, y'all, that your true identity includes being an overcomer, you will never settle for less than a miracle. There's certain things you're going through right now. There's certain things that you're going through that you're going, oh my gosh, man, I just want to go rest. There's certain things you're going through where you're going, man, when's it ever going to stop hitting me, right? There's certain things that you're probably going through where you're going, why me? Why does this thing have to be me? And I can relate, right? I'm going through those things too. And I love this quote from Craig Groeschel, because it's a reminder that God created us to overcome. God created us to be more, to be able to step into someone who can be that lighthouse for others. And we can't be a lighthouse for others unless we overcome trials, right? How can you go out there and help someone else if you have not gone through trials and fought through those and learned how to grow yourself? Okay. I now look at trials as, okay, this sucks. I don't like that I'm going through this. Let me recognize that. But now also let me go, all right, this would suck less or not suck at all if I were better, if I were a better person, if I learned how to deal with this more effectively. How do I need to grow to make it so this is a small problem or challenge? Or how do I need to grow to make it so I can amplify the impact that this situation has on my life or others around me? Okay. When you accept the fact that your true identity in God includes being an overcomer, you will never settle for less than a miracle, guys. I want to see you overcome all the amazing things this next year ahead. What's your who, and who do you want to become? What traits do you want to embody in your life? Who do you look up to and aspire to be more like? Why? Without the why, your habits will die. All right. What new daily non-negotiables will you adopt, and how will you hold yourself accountable? You'll surround yourself with these 3 new people this year. If you do this and this only, y'all, everything else upstream on what I taught you on my 3 biggest lessons for 2024 are going to be infinitely easier. Infinitely easier. You cannot grow through the pain levels or the pain lines unless you learn how to adopt and upgrade your identity. Okay. You cannot do it. Let me show you this really quick. Earlier in the presentation, I showed you guys my entrepreneur freedom formula, right? And what I discovered is when we start, you start right here. We start with a vision, right? We don't start with the impact we want to make. Usually we start with a vision. And like I said, you're running away from something. That vision then creates the pull forward. And then you say, I need to create a strategy to make it so this business happens. So you say, I'm going to wholesaler, I'm going to flip, or I'm going to start a property management company. And then you go, cool, I need to get some marketing done. I need to do this. So you create a strategy. You then build out the strategy. You start to add leverage with paid marketing or people or systems or evergreen marketing, right? That starts to make your business consistent. You start to get consistent money coming in now. Okay. But then you're working 50, 60, 70 hours a week. And you're going, man, this is cool. I reached this. This might be 1, 2, 3 years in, but you're going, dude, I don't have any time now. I'm out of energy. And now we start to step into the energy and time side of it. You can see how this thing goes in a circle clockwise. Okay. And we go, okay, so I want to buy my time and energy back. You do your energy audit. You figure out what are the things that drain my energy, what are the things that give me energy, amplify the things that give you energy, and delegate and create process for things that drain your energy. Okay. You create playbooks and processes, you hand them off, and you delegate. These are all things I'm training in detail. All these have playbooks inside of the Epic program for you guys. Okay, let's say you do that now. You've got a consistent business. Your vision that you had 2-3 years ago created the strategy. The strategy created the consistency. And then you dove in and got your time and energy back. Now you're working 30, 40 hours a week. You feel good about it, but you feel a little bit empty. And you start to be less motivated about your business. And now you're stuck right here. This is where a lot of people get stuck, guys. Is they go, well, maybe I need to go into a new market, or maybe I need to just have a bigger vision. And you get stuck at vision. You get stuck going, dude, I don't know. I've tried to pull away, Trevor. I've tried to pull away and write my vision story. I'm struggling, man. Like I can't even get myself to that spot. I remember talking with one of our Epic members earlier in the year, and he literally said, Trevor, I know I want more from life, but I cannot get clear on what I want. And I said, have you gone through my vision, my life vision story impact call and training? He said, man, I've tried. And I said, well, where are you getting stuck? He said, every time I start to think of new big things, these limiting beliefs creep in my mind. And I think, well, I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I want to do that. So I just slink back into my current state. And that's because, guys, people go from creating a business, buying their time back, and they try to jump straight towards vision again. And they skip over the identity upgrade. You cannot have a greater vision until you upgrade your identity to a greater person. Who's the next version of the person you want to become? And then say, dude, I know I've got some of my money taken care of. I want to make sure this darn business creates impact that has real purpose. And that's now a part of my vision. Are you guys seeing how this all rolls together? Are you guys seeing how this rolls together? This circle, guys, you're on your entire entrepreneur career. Okay. This will work for people in jobs as well. The only time you ever get off of the entrepreneur freedom formula is when you're ready to retire, when you're ready to leave your business or leave your job. But this is about every 3-year circle around here. And you can see, guys, today I've talked about some things on strategy. I've talked about some things on vision. I've talked about some things on getting your time and energy back. I've talked about identity. And as I really look at my year in 2023 and my goals for the year ahead, once again, it's the same things. It's all about identity. It's all about taking the identity work that I've done this year, amplifying it even more and saying, how would I make sure that my business supports that? And I support those who are running the business. And this is one of my favorite quotes. I saw it years and years ago. That's all about identity. It says, someone once told me the definition of hell is the last day you have on earth, the person you became will meet the person you could have become. Okay, someone once told me the definition of hell is the last day you have on earth, the person you became will meet the person you could have become. What this says, y'all, is there's a gap. And let's look at it from the opposite direction, the more empowering direction now. Okay, heaven on earth, right? Heaven is the last day you have on earth. I'm not going to say heaven, I'll say joy. Okay, the last day you have on earth, or gratification. It's and I don't think it's hell or heaven. The last day you have on earth, the person you wanted to become was the person that you became. And you were joyful. You were happy. You had gratitude. You had thanks for all those in your life path that helped you become part of that. But you know what? You were even more thankful that you were able to be the lighthouse for others who were lost on their path. I want you to be so overcome with joy that in any given moment, you pull back and go, man, I'm proud of who I am. You know, I want to become more. I'm proud of who I am right now, though. There's some flaws. There's some things I want to get better. And I'm going to take these cues and get better and have that new vision for the new person. But you know what? I'm going to be on that last day just going, dude, I left everything on the table. I kept growing as a person. I kept helping other people grow. I kept being that lighthouse. I kept pushing my limits. I kept really sharing the best of me and also sharing the worst, sharing my vulnerability so others can grow through those same moments. All right, guys, we're going to dive in now, and I'm going to open up my iPad, and we're going to use the personal planning tool. And what I want you to do actually is, before we dive into this, I want to actually ask a couple of questions, guys, because we're right at the 2-hour mark. There are dozens and dozens and dozens, if not hundreds, across all the different platforms watching here. What have you guys got out of this so far? What's the biggest takeaway you've had so far? What's the biggest takeaway you've had so far, y'all? Pop in the comments box. Was it the identity side of it and how to shift that? Was it a certain quote? Was it the 10x versus 2x mindset? Was it the perfect moments and really stepping into more, creating more perfect moments in this year ahead? Was it the pain lines and recognizing, man, it's okay if you're having challenges. It's okay if you're going through a pain line, because it's normal. If you're not going through pain lines, y'all, you're not growing. Okay. So if you're going through a pain line, count that as amazing. You got blessed with the pain line because you grew. And now you get a chance. God's laying this in front of you and saying, awesome, here's the next challenge. Here's the next challenge. Who do you need to become? Who do you need to step into to be able to overcome this challenge so others around you can see you do it and you can be the lighthouse for them, right? Change is about identity, not habits. I love it. Change is changing my identity. Identity. Focus more on my identity. Guys, 10x versus 2x, which can't happen unless we nail identity. I love it, Ryan. So guys, what I want you to take away from those sections is it could go one of two ways. We could either take this as, oh man, I feel bad about myself now, right? I feel bad about myself because I'm not achieving what I want to achieve. Or Trevor's telling me to think 10x now, and is my current goal not good enough or big enough? Guys, this exercise is not about guilt. If we do it right, it should actually remove all guilt and bring more gratitude and thankfulness in. It should remove all guilt and bring gratitude and thankfulness in. So if you're feeling guilty on some of it, I think it goes back to identity again. To go like, do I deserve it? I was working with one of our Epic members a number of months ago. As we really, really dug into why he keeps getting stuck, he felt he didn't deserve it. He didn't deserve that he could achieve more, do more, be more. So anytime he got into the spot where he started to try to create a vision story that was inspiring to him, that included that next version of himself, he would sabotage, because he would start to go, man, like, I don't know if I can write this down. So he would always write down like a watered down version of his vision, a watered down version of himself. He grew up in a household where his parents beat him down constantly, mentally, and told him he couldn't do things. He was in a relationship where the spouse did the same. They'd point out all the things that he did wrong and very rarely recognize the things that he did right. And there were so many of these experiences in his life. And he finally hit this success point in his business where he's like, dude, I proved everyone wrong. I did these things. He fulfilled his needs. He got some of his wants, but then it stopped there because he felt he didn't deserve to be able to want or need more. He didn't deserve to be able to want more. He didn't deserve more. And by the time we were done with that call, guys, it was like, dude, you deserve all of this on your list. You deserve every single bit of it. And you know what? What actually helped him was pulling it outside of himself. What worked for him was, I got him to really think about not building it for himself, but building it for others. I said, what's going to happen if you don't step into this greater vision of yourself? What about your kids? What identity are they going to have now if you don't step into this greater identity of yourself and unleash these shackles that you're continue to keep on you? What's going to happen for those in your team? What's going to happen for the community? Who's going to step up? If you're not going to step up, who's going to step up in your community to change the things you want to do better? And he just looked back on it. He's like, dude, I never thought about it. I've been trying to do all these things to prove other people wrong. And for me, for self-validation, what I now need to do is step out and say, I'm doing this for others now. Yeah, I want to be pumped and joyful about myself and my achievements. But you know what? I'm doing this for other people now. And that became his drive forward. That became his push forward. And that happens with a lot of us, y'all. All right, guys. So I want you guys to download this template if you don't have it already. I'm just going to kind of buzz through it. And we always do personal planning first, and then we do business planning. What a lot of people do, and I did this for years as well, is we do business planning first, right? Which makes sense. We go, hey, we have these goals, and let me now go create these goals. And because these goals and the business is going to help fulfill the financial part of it. So we really focus on the financial part of it a lot. But what I want you guys to do first, though, this is my one from last year. So I'm bringing this one in from last year. It's the same format pretty much, though. And I got rid of some of the things on here just that were private, but I'm just going to kind of walk you through some of this here. Okay. So yours will say, 2023 planning or 2024. depending on if you're wanting to write it when you did the planning or for the year that you're doing it. But the first thing, guys, I want you to recognize your accomplishments. Write down your top 5 accomplishments. Okay, write down your top 5 accomplishments, wins, why you love them. In this year, not last year, but I think it was a couple years back, guys. I never knew how to swim growing up, and that was one of my goals. I kept pushing forward, pushing forward, pushing forward. Every year it was learn to swim, learn to swim, learn to swim. And I finally stepped into a new identity. When we hit that 10 million plus mark, it was because I had to step into a new identity. And part of that was I do hard things. Hard things is good. And it doesn't matter what other people think about me if I'm 40 years old sitting out there in the YMCA swimming pool trying to swim, right? So I learned how to swim. And that was a major, major accomplishment for me in that year, which I think it was 2021 that I actually did that. Okay. I did 75 hard again that year. I've done it 3 times now. Crossed the 10 million in revenue that year. Just celebrating these things. Did a bunch of amazing trips, amazing date nights. This is the year that I memorized James 1. And within that year, we had a couple major trials that we went through. That this verse helped me so much. That passage. Adrian on our team passed away from COVID. A longtime friend and a team member of ours, great friend of mine, passed away from COVID. Had other trials and challenges that next year. And this continues to be an amazing lesson, amazing gift for me as we're dealing with trials with my dad and with other things as well. And then I'll put in some more bonuses. Okay, so celebrate the heck out of those wins, guys. As entrepreneurs, we don't focus on our wins enough. Okay, the second thing is now we want to diagnose where you want to grow. Okay, I have something I now call the 6 F's. And you basically go in here and take these 6 F's. You can tell that's not an F, so we got rid of it. And it's faith, family, friends, fitness or health, finances, and fun. And one of the great ways to really determine how the heck, where do I want to focus this next year is just in the most important buckets. Each one of these is a bucket. Okay. And we want to make sure that we're not leaving some of these buckets completely empty while some of them are full, because we want a better integrated life. We want to integrate these things together. How can we integrate family and fitness? How can we integrate friends and fitness? How can we integrate fun and fitness? How can we integrate fun and finances? What about family and fun, or faith and fun? Or what about faith and fitness, or faith and friends? How do we integrate these together? And that's where I talk about blank plus fellowship, is we try to integrate these 6 buckets together as much as possible and bring people along with you. Okay. So I want you to write on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being couldn't get any better, 1 being couldn't get any worse. Where you're doing? How are you doing on that? A quick snapshot. In this year, I was not doing all that great at the end of the year. I rated it a 2. Now you recognize up here, I said I learned to swim and did 75 hard, right? I did that all in the first half of the year. I got lazy. I had achieved that identity that I needed to achieve. I didn't advance my identity to the next thing. I got lazy the back half of the year, and I fell into what I would consider a 2 that back half of the year. Okay, finances were doing good. Fun was decently good. I was learning a lot. Family was doing really great. Faith, I grew a lot that year. But I wanted to get more intentional with friends. I wanted to get more intentional with fitness. And I wanted to get more intentional with making more fun into the life too. Okay, so then you go down in here and say, cool, where do I want to grow? So write down where you want to grow in these areas. This is the year I started a Bible study. Okay, this is the year that we grew. We joined a community group in church. Okay, family wise, we said we're going to start to do these rituals, these traditions with our kids. When they turn 13, they get to pick a trip anywhere in America. When they turn 18, anywhere in the world, just us and us parents and that one child. But we created that last year. This year in 2021, we created a new one. We said my wife and I are going to take every one of our 3 kids individually, my wife and each one of our kids individually, me and each one of our kids individually, and take them on a really cool one-on-one day trip. Just going to go fishing with my son Colton. Going to drive up to Eugene and go to the jump house with my daughter Sydney and go to lunch and go get her some new shoes. Just those perfect moments. We created that. And we created some other things as well. The fitness and friends, I joined that together. I said, hey guys, let's get a group of amazing people. Let's work out together. And now there's 4, sometimes 5 people, including myself, that get together Monday, Wednesday, Friday. They were working out in Roseburg without me, with our trainer, because it's such a ritual for them in their lives as well. It's been so amazing for all of us to have fitness and fellowship. It goes even when I'm not there, which I love. So write down what your intentions are with these. And then this is where we really talk about the identity, right? Who do we want to become? Where do we like? Where do we not like that we're showing up? Where do we want to show up? Write down that person that you want to become in here. Okay. And then this just kind of explains those disciplines. Like we talked, write down some of those habits and disciplines. Like I said, some of this is kind of taken from my identity shifter training, just simplified down a little bit. And then we want to really write down, like, what's holding me back from those disciplines? Is it a mindset? Is it an identity? There's something holding you back. Recognize what it is. Okay, is it like that other guy where he felt he wasn't worthy? That one thing was an unlock for him. Okay, and then I'm going to challenge you to write your 20-year vision, your 10-year vision, and your 5-year vision story, and then wrap it up with the theme, and then wrap it up with putting some of your big milestones for the year. Hey, we're going to do this trip. We're going to go camping here. I'm going to do this half marathon. We're going to do this family trip. We're going to do this thing here. We're going to do this thing here. I'm going to learn this here. I'm going to launch this business here. Okay. And I like to kind of look at these buckets and go, okay, what do I want to learn this year? I need to put in place on my calendar some planning days. Where do I want those days to be? Okay, what trips do I want to do this year? What events, real estate events, do I want to go to? What about family events? There's birthdays, anniversaries, things like that. How do I want to care for myself better? Do I want to do weekly massages? What am I going to do with friends more intentionally? What about a hobby? I'm going to pick up one hobby this year. I like to try to do one hobby. What's that Misogi? The Misogi is the 1 year defining challenge that is so big that there's a 50-50 shot you're not going to finish it. But if you do finish it, and even if you don't, it's a massive identity shift upgrade. For me, 1 year, that was literally a half marathon because I never thought I could ever run any distance at all. Now I've done a few. Okay. For some people, it could be a ride across America. For some people, it could literally be starting the business. Okay. That might be your Misogi. So pick your 1 year defining event that's a 50-50 coin flip, whether you're going to nail it or not, but it's going to help you grow. Okay. And guys, when you get done with that and you take all these and you go, okay, let me go up to my calendar, just kind of plot them where you think they're going to be. And then right after that, you go to your actual Google Calendar and start to put things on the calendar. You pre-load your year, which is what we do here at Carrot as well. I call it the pre-stacked year. And it's going to look like something like this. Like I said, this comes from our Epic program, but we end up pre-stacking our year with those things. Here's my personal travel. Here's my business travel. When we have work off or school off, personal events, Carrot events. And I can find where these spots where I can fill it in with some things that I want, or where it's getting too busy, or where there's opportunity in my calendar to be more intentional. And so, guys, I know I blew through that, but that's how I do planning. I start with the personal. And then after that, then you can go into your business planning. And I'm going to give you guys a sheet that is going to be able to help you with the business side of it. And you can just create a little one like this. You guys could even take a screenshot of this here. But there's like a little 1-page strategic plan right here, guys. You can start off with this really, really simple 1 year strategic plan. There's other resources you're going to get on the live view page, but screenshot this bad boy if you want this. Okay. You're going to write down, hey, what's the why of that company? What's my vision 3, 4, 5 years out? What are my core values? Write them down. What's that 10-year vision, that big target, that big, hairy, audacious thing? I want to be the number 1 wholesaler in Cincinnati, or I want to own 1,000 units, or I want to manage 1,000 units, or I want to have an empire that does 20 million a year, or 10 million a year, or 1 million a year, or 100,000 a year, whatever your vision is. Okay. What are these targets 3 years out? What are your targets for 2024? What do you have to change about your marketing strategy to make that happen? Okay. Are there any processes that are key? And then what are the issues that you need to go through? And then what are the threats? If you just go through and do this 1-pager, this alone is going to be a big, big jump forward for a lot of you for your business planning. But your personal planning always, always, always comes before the business planning. Where a lot of us get stuck, y'all. I'm going to move to some Q&A, and I'm going to read part of my life vision story to you to kind of move to an end here. Where it's been magical for me, guys, is when you're clear on the life you want to live, and you're clear on the person you need to become to be able to live that life, then you can be clear on the business that you need to create to make that happen. Okay. What a lot of people do is they focus on the business vision first, and that business creates your identity unintentionally. You end up following along where that business takes you, and you end up resenting the business in 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. Okay. So instead, we always have to say, we plan based on our life first. Okay. We plan based on our life first, and then we back our way in to the business side of it. Let me try to figure this out, guys. I got a little issue there. We plan our life first, and then we build the business vision into that. All right, guys. Cool. Let me finish up the last few slides in this, guys, and let's do some Q&A if there is any. There's a lot of people on this call still trying to figure out my view deal here. There we go. It's back. Cool. Thanks, Braden. So I'm gonna skip to this last kind of recap here, guys, and I'm gonna read part of my life vision story. That the first time I read it out loud, it choked me up, and I'm gonna be in a couple days reviewing this life vision story that's here in this notebook. I'm going to be updating it. I'm going to be casting a bigger vision ahead. I'm going to be challenging myself where I'm thinking too small, where I'm not serving people well enough, where I'm not serving my family well enough. I'm going to be thinking bigger for my team, for my company. I'm going to be trying to get out of the way of spots where I'm not serving my team, company, or people well, doing things I'm not good at. But I can guarantee I'm going to be pulling back and looking at this vision story. And if it does not choke you up when you read it out loud or read it to someone you care about, it's the wrong story, y'all. You have limiting beliefs in that story that are holding you back from your greatness. I want to ask you this question. What is holding you back from your greatness right now? What's holding you back from your greatness? Whatever that version of your greatness is, ask yourself, is there anything holding me back from that? That continually crops up, continually creeps up, that continually makes it so I pull my vision story back. And I'm just going to read a couple little parts of this so you guys know when I talk about that vision story on that worksheet that you've got, I can't even fit my vision story on that worksheet, guys. So I don't use the worksheet for mine. This is literally my vision story I wrote last New Year's Eve, and I read it at least once a month. I start with the 20-year right there. There's 20-year vision story. And then I write, this is all the 20 years, single spaced, handwritten font. It's still going, y'all. It's still going. And then I went to my 10 years. So I think that's like 5 full pages for me. That's what works for me. You may be a bullet point person. You may be a vision board person. Okay. But I'm going to read part of this. My 20-year, and I always write 20 year, and then I write the year, 2042. Okay. I'm 60 years old and thriving. My wife, Carly, and I are in more love now than 20 years ago. And my clarity and trust in God are rock solid. I woke up at 6 a.m. like clockwork. The vision story should be literally from the second you wake up to the second you go to bed, every moment in between, what you see, what you do, who you talk to, what you say, what you smell, everything, guys, in such great, vivid vision detail where you can see it, you can feel it, you can embody that person living that day. And it's the ideal average day. Okay. Let's see, like clockwork. I wake up at 6 a.m. like clockwork, full of energy, clear-minded, and well-rested. I open my eyes to the most amazing view. It inspires me every morning, calms me, and fills me with gratitude. The view is of the sunrise, fresh, crisp air outside overlooking a big body of moving water with an amazing deck porch and lush greenery just outside of our giant sliding glass door. High ceilings with lots of space in the air or in our room. My wife wakes up around 6:37, which gives me amazing quiet time to really start the day with intention. I drink a glass of water, grab a book, usually Bible study or autobiography or an inspiring person, and read 10 pages. If you guys can see what I'm already talking through here, there's so many identity statements in here. So much of what I've already said here is identity stuff, right? I wake up at 6 a.m. That's a habit. That's an identity. But the location of my house, that's the type of a house I live in today and want to continue living in down the road. Identity of being married and madly in love with my wife in 20 years still. That's an identity, right? That's not just a thing I want to do. That's an identity. Reading autobiography or Bible study, that's an identity. Okay, that's not just a habit. It says, then I write. 20 years straight writing daily has been a core habit of mine that's brought me joy and a sense of peace and value. I start to put a coffee on in our spacious, airy kitchen, and Carly comes out and we enjoy a cup of coffee together. Our house isn't huge, but big enough to have our parents, kids, and their families are all at once comfortably. McKinley is 32 years old. I even put my kids in there, guys. 32 years old. She was 12 at the time I wrote this. Is an amazing, strong, healthy mom of 2. She lives nearby because she probably won't move too far away, and has a supportive, strong, and loving and great father to her kids. A loving husband and great father to her kids. Sydney, my youngest, is strong, confident 28-year-old, achieving amazing things. And Colton is 30 and just achieved his dream to own his own ranch and be a veterinarian. All the kids visit often, but are independent and support themselves. And guys, those are identities too. How do I create independent kids who support themselves? How do I make that happen? Well, I have to, if I can't have that happen unless I have it in the vision. I work from home, from the home office. I go to work around mid-morning workout at 9:30. Most days I work from my home office on our property. It's overlooking an inspiring view, floor-to-ceiling windows, and displays my best-selling books, courses we've supported, and special people in our lives. Some days I go into the office in town where my small local team works. My work consists of me reading and learning about interesting topics, researching history, trends, the markets, taking a couple calls and meetings each day with those CEOs that I mentor, those companies we've invested in, and I create content. Today, I meet with my CEO who runs the umbrella company. This company owns all or part of over $100 million years in revenue. And we make such an amazing impact on local communities and policy that we've been featured in magazines, TV shows that inspire others to do the same. We've transformed downtown Roseburg and started to do the same in other communities. I eat healthy lunch at 12:30 and always go for a walk midday or a hobby like golfing to think and to stay active, usually solo, but sometimes with people. Guys, you see how detailed this is. I can keep on going. I haven't even hit lunch yet, I don't think. Yeah, I hit lunch. I'm just at lunch. And once you do the 20-year, then you ask yourself, in order to live that life in 20 years, be that person, achieve those things, do those habits, who do I need to become in 10 years? And write the same thing, write your ideal average day in 10 years. Write it out like a story so you can read it, you can feel it. It's moment by moment, everything you're experiencing, seeing, feeling, doing, being, who are you around? And like I said, this resonates for me, but I would argue that this model will resonate for most people who on this call, can picture a movie that you've watched in your life that moved you in some way. You watched a movie and you teared up, you choked up a little bit. Maybe that movie drove you to take action on something. Guys, this here is your movie. This is your movie. And the more detailed you make that movie, the more real it is. The more real it is, the more it's going to manifest in your life. The more it manifests in your life, the more it becomes you. The more it becomes you, that is your life. You are living that life, and you could live it far sooner than the 20 years even. All right, guys. So that's my big challenge for you. Do that. Then work your way all the way back to the 5-year vision story. In order to live this life in 10 years, this ideal average day, what does my ideal average day have to be in 5 years? Now, this is where it's key to finish your planning. Okay. Once you're clear on your 5-year vision story, what the ideal average day looks like, you're now going to start to wrestle with topics of your work, your current job, your current business. You're going to look at it and go, man, if I'm going to live that 10-year, I've got to, and this is what I'm going to really wrestle with what I'm going to put down for the 5-year, because my 10-year does not include me leading this current company, or my 10-year does not include this, or my 10-year does not include this. So that means something has to change in the next 5 years to make this happen. And then you get intentional saying, well, what has to change? This changes, this changes, this changes. That now informs your business vision. Okay. If you know that you want to be leading a company, not running it in 5 years, what are you going to change next year to put yourself on the path to make that possible in 5 years? That becomes part of your plan for next year. If you know that you want to build multiple companies or invest in multiple companies, but you've never bought a company or invested in a company today, and you want that to be a part of your 5-year, that puts you on track with your 10 and your 20, then what do you have to do this year to start that? For me, that was mine 3 years ago. I knew I wanted to build a portfolio of companies and step out of leading Carrot eventually to put an amazing leader in. I'm like, dude, I don't know how to buy another company. So I went and bought another company that year to learn the process, to learn how to integrate it, to learn how to be a better leader. And that put me on the path to becoming more of the person I need to become. All right, guys. So 20, 10, 5, personal vision, write the identity statements down there. And then bam, what does my business have to look like in order to support that 5-year version and to support my life? I know I've gone through a lot, guys. I want to open up for any questions here. And I'm going to actually wrap up as well, showing you guys a couple other things. I'm going to bring up my IG and going to bring back up a couple opportunities that you guys have here. I have seen some people apply for Epic, which I love. This is my passion. Guys, I absolutely love working with entrepreneurs, talking with entrepreneurs, helping you through those pain lines. If anyone is interested in taking one of the last 4 spots in Epic, it is a high-level program. It's not nearly the investment that you think it's going to be. Okay, it's not 20 grand. It's not 30 grand. It's a small group of about 30 or so of us. includes group weekly coaching with me, monthly accountability calls. We have amazing 6, 7, and low 8-figure entrepreneurs in there, all the way from property managers to real estate flippers, wholesalers, people who own property management companies, construction companies, but they're all related to real estate in here. Real estate agent, investor hybrids are in the group. And the whole goal is to build that business of freedom and impact. All right, guys, we're going to lock it down once we hit the 30. We're going to keep that 30 for this year ahead anyway, before we focus on building the program. And like I said, it's the only spot in the Carrot ecosystem where you can have the access to me, but also access to our team and other amazing high-level people like this, where we're not just going to help give you the models and systems to help grow your leads and close more deals. That's happening too. January, the whole focus on January for Epic is all about driving more revenue and closing more deals. Okay, but the whole focus on December for Epic was getting ready for the year to come, planning, getting the identity shifted, tax time teardown, getting your taxes planned in an effective way to save you tens of thousands a year in revenue. So it's a holistic business approach being taught from the Entrepreneur Freedom Formula. Guys, go check it out. Application only. You'll hop on a call with our team, and then the team will be able to say, hey, yeah, it's a fit for you or not. If it is, amazing. If it's not, amazing as well. We'll grab the first 4. And then, like I said, guys, the other opportunity here is we do have this bundle that's going to be closing down December 31st at midnight for only $997 today. You're going to be able to save thousands for this bundle of packages. And normally the package of features you're going to get are normally about $200 a month or so, which is about $800 in payments. We're going to waive those 4 months of payments. So you're essentially getting all of this and all the bonuses, my Google Ads campaign, the 3 lead per day training, the 30-day challenge, the weekly coaching calls with our team. You're going to get all of this, including our lead conversion masterclass, our hybrid training model, our virtual assistant hiring guide, our chat GPT prompts for real estate marketing, all these things. And this workshop I pulled out of the Epic program called the Marketing Momentum Workshop to show you how to plan your marketing for the year ahead. You're going to get all this included for $987 today, no payments for 4 months. And then in 4 months, it's just going to continue at that normal monthly payment. You can upgrade, downgrade at any time. But this is going to give you thousands of dollars in bonuses, y'all. So that's my sales pitch. Done with that. But recap, who before you do. Recognize that there are pain lines, y'all. And then create a plan to grow through it. Give yourself permission to dream. Wants versus needs are critical as you get your needs covered. And create those magical moments more often and more intentionally, because they really extend life in an amazing way. You can live 6 years worth of life in 6 months if you do it intentionally, y'all. Guys, you're allowed to get up one day and change. You're allowed to get up one day and just decide to change who you are, to dress differently, to speak up more, to laugh louder, to speak freely, to say hey to new people, to get that confidence going if you've lost it. We don't have to stay the way people see us out of fear that they won't like the us we want to be. So I want to toss this challenge to wrap today's call with you guys is, who do you want to be? Who do you truly, truly, truly want to be more than anything else, irregardless of the person you've been up to this point or the people that you think, or the person you think people think you are? Okay. What do you want to do? What do you want to accomplish? Write those down. Use this next week to do that and create an epic, epic year ahead. Even if you have trials, y'all, which you will, step into those trials with joy when you're able to, and position that as, okay, this wasn't done to me, it was done for me. I just need to find out how and why, right? So guys, I love you. I appreciate you guys. Go follow me on Instagram. This is where I post a lot of behind the scenes stuff, trevor.mauch, trevor.mauch. The Carrot Cast, we talk about a lot of this type of topic on the Thursday Truck Talks. And then, like I said, the Epic program. If you've enjoyed this and you want the holistic grow your business past the pain lines program directly with me and about 30 others, 4 spots only. The team will work on probably closing those over the next 2 weeks. I've got time for a couple questions, guys, and I've got to create a amazing, perfect moment here in a bit. My dad has 3 amazing classic cars that he's gifted to us 3 sons. Crazy cool cars. He gifted them to us a couple months ago. It was really emotional, but it was so cool and meant so much. And we're actually going to go drive those cars here in a bit. So we're going to go, well, my brother's in town from Nashville. He's never driven his T-Bird. And we're going to drive those cars before it starts raining. So I've got an amazing day planned out. Awesome. Beautiful, Marco. Thanks, man. Marco says, I have to jump. And guys, let me know what your, as we wrap this, let me know what was your biggest takeaway from this call. What was the biggest takeaway from this call? What are you going to move on and with intention start to do? Did anything hit you in the gut, guys? Like, let me know in the comments box. That's the biggest payment and biggest gift for me for investing this time on my break is let me know how it impacted you. Okay, blow up that comments box, y'all. Blow it up. That's the only payment I really ask for is blow up that comments box. What impact did this call make on you? What are you taking away from this? How do you see this changing your business or changing your life in the future? I want to see that comment box blow up, y'all, and let me know what that is. That is the only payment. Before you bounce off here, you have to submit that payment, and that's going to be amazing. For those that want to grab our offers, go get the offers. The big savings, the $997 package goes away December 31st at midnight. That works if you are an existing customer too. Like I said, you'll pay the $997 today. We'll pause your payments for 4 full months. That saves you about $800 in payments right there, which means you get all the rest of the bonuses for just a couple $100 with that. If you're brand new to Carrot, it's the perfect time to join. Get that tax write-off in if you're in that 30% tax bracket. Rather than sending the 30% or that $300 to Uncle Sam, why don't you just invest in yourself in this year ahead and put the whole $1,000 towards your business, towards your goals. Awesome, guys. Time demands urgency, identity. Amazing. Thank you there, Troy. Work on my identity 10x over 2x. I love it, y'all. Let me read through this one here. Chris says Epic Coaching is only for real estate investors, or can general business owners join in? Yeah, dude. So all the concepts are relevant for any high margin service business, which what you do applies. I'm trying to think of like that there are in some of the marketing trainings that we have, Chris, where specifically like the scorecard as an example is built out for a wholesaler or flipper. And so with those types of things like that, you just take that and modify it and go, cool. And I'm just going to modify this for a construction company. But other than that type of stuff, which is very few and far between, everything else can apply for any high margin service business as well. Awesome, dude. All right, guys. Appreciate y'all. Have an amazing rest of the week. I'm going to sign off. Let's have a killer new year, guys. Use this time to craft your identity, step into the new you, step into the new business in 2024. I appreciate you guys. Post on social media on Instagram and tag me to it what your biggest takeaway was, and DM me on Instagram as well. Guys, I'd love to meet you over there and hang out. All right, see you at a future Carrot Camp. See you at the Epic program if you're one of the 4 who are going to be able to get in the program before we close it down for the year, and or see you in as a Carrot member, or just see you around town if you're not a real estate investor agent. Appreciate you guys. Love you. Talk soon.